Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more. Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you.
Yeah, what's up, bro? What's going on?
Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain, very intense. It can make your eyes water. It makes you walk funny because you're trying to get pressure off your heel. I had instability. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And I was driving past the Good Feet store. I mean, why not? Give it a try.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure they fitted me with the right thing. And so they brought out several different arch supports and gave me the opportunity to try them in shoes and walk around with them until they found the perfect ones for my feet. I had no idea that they would be that patient, and I had no idea they would be that kind. And you just knew, like, your feet, just when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. And it really did make a big difference. It made my foot not hurt. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com. Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now, starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Oak Ridge Winery.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper, also known as Drapes, here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. That's where I got my gorgeous black-on-black EQS SUV. I'll be honest, it's the most stunning car I've ever owned, and let me tell you why I love it. First of all, the minute you step inside, you feel like you're driving a luxury vehicle. Plus, I love the onboard navigation system, and I tell you what, my kids just love the front seat and rear seat heating option. You know how it is up here in Northern California. You got to have that during the winter. And of course, during the summer, you got to have seat cooling. Well, my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV has that as well. Go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They believe, guys, that when you buy the world's finest car, it should be an experience you'll never forget. It's the greatest car shopping experience I've ever had. They were tremendous. The ease of buying, they just made it super simple. It's just 30 minutes from Sacramento, right off of I-5. And of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
California's largest Sportsman's Expo is back Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Find the best selection of boats, side-by-sides, campers, and accessories, all at special prices. And get to your next adventure in style. See Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake.
So how are the Kings going to respond to one of their most fascinating, maddening, perhaps significant losses of the year? We find out tonight, taking you up to game night. It is the Drive Guys, Kevin Gleason in our Sacramento studios, and standing by in the Valley of the Sun, Kyle Draper, also known as Drapes. And Drapes had a lot of people on Twitter yesterday and last night especially saying, oh, it's going to be an interesting show today. Interesting show. I guess they're talking about this Mike Brown's fine. I don't know what else they could be talking about. How are you?
Right. They got to be talking about this massive game between the Kings and the Phoenix Suns, or that great ending we saw the other day in Milwaukee, or the fabulous weather that I got down here in Phoenix, man. It's sunny out here, 60s, play some golf. So that's about all we got to talk about for the next 2.5 hours, right?
I suppose so. I can't think of anything else. By the way, that's great. You're rubbing it in because looks like we're going to get some rain here while you're out there playing golf. But we got the news today on Mike Brown's fine, of course, after his rant with audio-visual accompaniment after the game in Milwaukee, $50,000, so that he got twice the fine that Darko got last week, Drapes.
Which is surprising. Well, I guess Darko's just was an after the game rant. Like Mike Brown went nuclear on the court during the game.
Yes,
like
right.
If you remember, Pat Connaughton was running by and he bumped into Mike Brown was Mike Brown was like 5 feet onto the floor. And so I get it, 50,000. But Mike Brown, let's call it what it is, though. He had a point.
Yeah.
Maybe he went overboard, but the league, they got to do something about this. We've talked about the officiating time and time again. I don't think there's a coordinated effort to not give Sacramento the call or to give the Lakers the call. I just think the officials are just bad. And this was a first-year official that Mike Brown was upset about. And, the league is going to has fined Mike $50,000, but they also need to take a look at their officiating as well.
Mm-hmm. I did not appreciate, Steve Kerr kind of made fun of Mike Brown yesterday. And they know each other very well. But to me, it's like, really? Because Mike Brown, obviously, he wasn't having fun up there. I know everyone's kind of laughing at it, but he was not enjoying himself. I know Steve Kerr, actually, I meant to say Steph Curry referenced Mike Brown after the Warriors loss. You're right. I mean, it's a hot topic in the NBA. And I think in this case where there's smoke, there's fire. Kyle, for what it's worth, I just mentioned on the crossover, I have a friend who briefly officiated in the NBA. He lives locally. His name is Bill Simmons, not the Bill Simmons, the Ringer guy, but he was telling me he watches games now, and he says, one end, there's somebody gets decapitated. There's no call. At the other end, someone brushes somebody and they go to the line. So this is a guy that used to be an official, and he says, there's just no consistency now. I can't tell what I'm watching.
Right, and that's the problem. I think players, coaches, even fans call it the same way.
Yeah.
It's in that game against Milwaukee, there were 2 critical calls. Well, 3 if you include the foul on Malik Monk when he was driving and Lopez gave him the forearm shiver into the midsection. But De'Aaron Fox got hit on the elbow on a 3-point attempt. Wound up being an air ball. Should have been a foul call. And also the one that Mike Brown went ballistic about, De'Aaron Fox getting grabbed by Campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are right there in front of the officials. These are basic calls. It isn't a bang play or anything like that. And then for Mike Brown to go on afterwards, and I thought it was an epic rant. I thought that will be one of those rants that we'll see 20 years from now. And it's funny. I was in an Uber yesterday, and I was like, yeah, I'm from Sacramento, work for the Kings. And the guy was like, hey, was that your coach? That, just some random guy out of the blue, right? And so kudos to Mike. But no, these are blatant misses by the officials. And that's what upsets me is that, all right, you can miss a call, yes, but to me, it stems from just being bad at your job in that moment. And, that game came down. Obviously, Kings got to make their free throws, but when you have a tight game like that, 1 or 2 calls can really change things.
Yeah, and to Mike Brown's credit, anybody who saw that knows, it wasn't like practice, talk about practice. He didn't lose his cool. Right. I mean, he was very upset, but it was a very reasoned plea like, hey, what's going on here? They tell me the rule, this is verticality. Then they say this is verticality. We just need some consistency. So to his credit, he didn't lose his cool. He made a lot of sense, and the NBA can find him. They can find Darko, but this is a problem for the NBA. That's why they have the stupid final 2-minute report is because people think the officiating is not on the level and it's so bad. And now you've got coaches and players pointing out that this is hard to play because the officiating is so bad. So the NBA has a real problem on their hands.
They do. And the thing about Mike Brown and pulling out the laptop and everything, nobody said, no, Mike, you're wrong.
Right.
Like, Mike Brown had the visual proof. He had the evidence right there.
Yeah.
And so, what we should be talking about, and not, I'm just not talking about us, I'm talking about a broader NBA scale, is not about a $50,000 fine. If I'm Adam Silver, I'm talking to the referees association saying, guys, we got to do a better job. Like, they should come out with a little more clarity on the rule. Like, Mike Brown challenged them publicly, said, I was told one thing, now I'm being told another. What is it?
Yeah.
The league should come out and say, here's the official rule. This is what it should be. And then we'll know going forward. And then Mike Brown, I'm sure will coach that way. All right, now we know going forward, it's out there for everybody to know. No gray area. This is what it is.
Yeah. The Malik foul with Brooke Lopez on the forearm, that what initially was called correctly a foul. I remember, you were right there doing the game. You had the play-by-play. Malik, I remember he even went up to Lopez and he showed him the forearms. Like, no, you gave me the forearm, so it's a foul. And then they review that and decide it's not. Again, to Mike Brown's credit, he actually gave the officials credit for how much they communicated. He said they did a great job of that. So it really had to be hard for him not to just go ballistic, and to throw the MacBook or whatever it was. So that's the thing. That's why it's really hard to discount what he did, because he was very reasonable throughout the whole thing and made some really good points. The NBA can find him, but they can't ignore that.
Well, they can't ignore that. You're right about that. But the problem the NBA is having, you have Darko, you got Mike Brown, you've had Steve Kerr, you got other for players to complain and whine, that's one thing. That's what they do, right? That's what players do. They do it during the game. They do it after the game. These are the faces of your league in terms of your coaches now are saying we're getting screwed by the officials. And so here's the thing, though. This is what bothers me. I love the NBA, Whitey. This is my league. These are my guys. Why is this such an NBA problem and not as much an NFL problem, let's say? Because the NFL officials make bad calls all the time, but it's not an indictment on the sport. The fix isn't in, if you will. Is it because of the Tim Donaghy situation? Like, why is the NBA officials, when they miss a call, it's an indictment? The fix is in. They're trying to, cheat for this team. Whereas in the NFL, they make a bad call, and then it's just, they made a bad call. They screwed the team. What do you think about that?
I think it's the nature of the sport, for one thing, where, you can actually say you get to shoot 2 free shots, and also I think you're right. Donaghy and the history of the NBA, again, like I just said, that's why they have the 2-minute report, is because of this perception that, those games, right. And so the NBA is still battling that to a larger degree than the NFL has ever had to. The question is, what really can they do about it? I don't know, but they need better officiating, bottom line.
Better officiating. And I said this the other day, I think it was Wednesday when we had the short show. I said the NBA has a perception problem.
Yeah.
Because that was a great game the other night. That was a fantastic game between the Bucks and the Kings. We should have been talking about an epic regular season game. Instead, we're talking about the officiating. And so what winds up happening is the officiating overshadows a great game. ESPN, all these other outlets, our outlet as well. And so this only further perpetuates the perception that the NBA, its officials, are either A, crooked, or B, they're just bad at their jobs.
I think it's right now it's incompetence and it's inexperience and it's inconsistency. That appears to be
hey, how loud
storm.
Is that?
That's pretty loud.
Dude, it's the dance team warming up. It's like, dude, I'm like, where am I?
What is it?
Coachella or something? Like,
what is it?
It's the dance team warming up. You've been in a building, Whitey.
Yeah.
And the dance team warms
up.
Sure. Like, it's not this loud at Golden One Center. Oh, my gosh, they're loud out there.
We'll be back there on Thursday, of course, the Kings wrapping up this road trip. And, it's the dog days. It's mid-January. But, Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a big game. It's a Wednesday night in January. But Kings Suns, we got a lot on the line tonight, the way I see it.
Yeah, these two teams, if I'm correct, separated by 2 games in the loss column. And so if you're Sacramento, while you may be trending towards a better record than you were last year, so are the Phoenix Suns, so are the Pelicans, so are all these other teams. And so this goes back to something we talked about before the season. The Kings may be a better team, but may finish worse in the standings because everybody else has gotten better. Usually you talk about the push for the playoffs happening after the trade deadline. I mean, every game is important now. I mean, you can't afford to go on a 3, 4, 5 game losing streak. Like if you get this one, you're 3-2 on the road, and I think we would all have accepted that at the beginning. This is a massive game, and we'll see the Phoenix Suns' big three for the first time as well.
Yeah,
we played them twice and haven't seen Durant, Booker, and Brad Beal together. So this is a massive one tonight.
The Kings basically in a 3-way tie for 5th. They're 2 back of the Clippers, and they're just 2 up on Phoenix. And I think that's a great point you raise, because I found myself today looking at Phoenix's numbers and what they've done this year. But a lot of it's like, well, it doesn't matter because they haven't had their big three together as much. One thing, though, that you can't help but notice, they are 11th in 3-point percentage. So they make threes, but they don't take many. And I know that's one thing that their coach, Frank Vogel, is trying to get, especially with the big three. You guys, because those guys are, especially Durant and Beal, are really good in the mid-range and Booker. And he's trying to get them to take more threes, more and more threes. So that's something the Kings will have to keep an eye on tonight defensively.
Yeah, 100%. And here's the thing. I'll drop a couple of nuggets on you guys to pay attention to tonight. Brad Beal says he'd like to get 10 threes up per game. Like he wants to be one of those guys. You talk about the Suns not hitting, not taking a lot of threes. They only made 5 the last time these two teams played. But this is a different Suns team. And this is a different Kings team too, Whitey. Sacramento's 29th in the NBA in 3-point field goal percentage defense. Only the Charlotte Hornets are worse. And so keep an eye on the 3-ball numbers, because if Phoenix can hit the 3 tonight, I think it's going to be a long night for Sacramento.
Yeah. And another thing that was interesting about the loss to the Bucks, the next day, at least on social media, I noticed a lot of Kings fans were feeling, all things considered, pretty good about it, Kyle. And I think they appreciated the fact that, that was a heartbreaking loss, but the team was competitive against a really good team. And if not for, a couple missed free throws, I was a little surprised, but a lot of Kings fans felt like, what? That's a tough one, but they were competitive, and Kings fans found that a little refreshing against a really good team.
All right. I'll take that. Okay. Because we were off yesterday, didn't have a show. And so I thought the whole 4 hours would have been about the free throw shooting, and you got to make your free throws and the officiating. And, because immediately after the game, I'm hearing people on social media calling this a brutal loss, devastating. And to me, I it sucked. It hurt. Yes. But I was encouraged by what I saw from our team in that game. I was talking to Doug Christie. Doug Christie had the scout for this game, and I told him, Doug, I thought the game plan pretty much worked. Sure, Giannis had his triple-double, but he wasn't as much of a factor in that game as, let's say, a Bobby Portis or a Malik Beasley. Those are the guys that really changed the game. Giannis is going to get his. I thought the Kings did a tremendous job, and they competed the whole way, and they should have had that game. They should have made their free throws. And so to hear that Kings fans are, level-headed about this loss, because Whitey, we've been living on the roller coaster all season.
I know.
It's been ridiculous, man. So, all right, I'm cool with that. I'm level-headed about it.
All right. Am I right? You see anything as far as a silver lining in that loss? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. And Mike Brown's rant, will it actually accomplish anything? We get into that when we come right back. It's the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a year. Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars, and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee for proof or a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Yeah, I caught my first fish, Dad.
Great job, buddy. He's a beauty.
Thanks for taking me fishing. Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure the boat's always ready for those magical father-son moments. Who knows, maybe someday he'll actually like fishing. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to game night at 4:30. Kevin Gleason in Sacramento, Kyle Draper standing by in Phoenix. Before we get to the phones, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I just want to make sure everything is okay staff-wise here, Kyle, because when you were out last week, we stumbled upon something, and we may have used it to the 49ers' favor. Long story short, Simone has a skeleton at her house as a Halloween decoration, and we found out last week that when she put a 49er jacket on it, they lost 3 in a row. She said, I got the jacket right off of Henrietta the skeleton. So we said, well, we're just having fun, spitballing. What if you put some Eagle gear on the skeleton? And she said, her boyfriend is an Eagles fan. So she did. And your team didn't play well last night. And I just want to make sure that everything is okay with her and her boyfriend.
No, you need to make sure everything's okay between me and Simone. No, she's putting the head.
Oh, come on.
The voodoo whammy on my squad.
It's just superstition. We don't have superstition in sports anymore, I don't know.
Just having fun.
Just having fun.
You know what? I was going to hook Simone up with some courtside seats or something like that. Take care of her and her boyfriend, but it's all good. You know what? I might invite him, leave you at home,
You guys have a lot more time now.
Ouch.
Oh, you know what I noticed? She posted a picture last night on X, but she didn't tag you. I thought, okay. No. So anyway, I didn't know
if what we're going to do today, White? We're going to come back every segment and just, make a dig at the Eagles. You got to understand, our season was over back on December 3rd when the Niners came out there and kicked our butts.
Right.
And so I've been preparing myself mentally for this day. So all you people tweeting at me, YouTube chat, I'm already done. You can say whatever you want about the Eagles. I've been through with this squad.
I understand all that.
It's been over.
Yeah. But I just wanted to make sure we got that settled because I was concerned.
Yeah. We have to have transparency on this show.
Yeah.
The Draft Guys.
Yeah. And I'm gonna encourage those same people to keep tweeting at him and keep calling and texting as well too.
Jay, we've been on there 20 minutes. You ain't said a damn word.
I'm just letting y'all talk about Coach Brown. That's all. I'm just respecting your time over here, sir.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
Yeah.
I know we're going to talk football, but my gosh, I'm already putting an asterisk next to this San Francisco 49ers
my goodness.
Run. This may be the weakest NFC run to the Super Bowl in the history of football. Let me just throw that out there. We'll talk about that coming up but I'm already putting an asterisk next to this.
All right.
Niners.
Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Cole joins us on Sactown Sports. Cole, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for checking in. What can the Drive Guys do for you?
Just calling in, hearing you guys talk about the officiating and Kings game. Laker fan alert here.
Okay.
I would just like to say, you guys probably wouldn't be talking about that if you win. Dame doesn't make the shot, you're not talking about the refs.
Nah, that's bogus, Cole. That's bogus. Cole. Because our coach, Brown, got run.
Yeah.
Our coach, Mike Brown, got ejected. And so you're right. If we win, maybe we're talking about how gutsy and gritty this team is. What a win. But I guarantee you, Mike Brown would but Mike Brown would still come in that post-game press conference fired up the way he did. That was egregious. That was blasphemous what the NBA did and those officials. And so don't come in here. Yeah, first of all, Lakers, here's the thing about Lakers fans, Jay. They get one quality win last night against OKC. Now they're going to start calling into our show. Get out of here, man. Worry about your team, Cole. You killing me, bro.
I give him credit for, making sure we knew where he was coming from. Right. But, yeah, it's not like LeBron never complains about the officiating. You know what he's really upset about is that whole thing. This really started with Darko Rajakovic complaining about the officiating in a Laker game. So that was kind of in some ways the genesis of this. So that's Cole's issue. Let's talk to Tin on Sactown Sports. Hey, Tin, what's up?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think Mike Brown, great, has passion for the game, and I like it because, when the ref missed a call, he's like, hey, you messing with my game check, messing with my player's victory, our record. We trying to, make it so we could get far in the season. So I'm not really mad at him for that, man. As long as there's no, touchstone.
Got you, Tin. Don't you think, Kyle, that there is some value in no matter what the NBA does? It seemed to me like, the team did seem to respond. Yeah. And at least something about, hey, our coach is going to stand up for us, right? Yeah. There's value in that.
And I think the one thing, I took away from that, and I think fans should notice, go watch the replay. Watch the player that was trying to calm Mike Brown down. It was Malik Monk. Remember 2 weeks ago, we were talking about those two having an issue on the bench, a confrontation. Now you see what kind of relationship that they have. They can challenge each other. They can get on each other, but they can also have each other's back. And I thought it was kind of funny and ironic that Malik Monk was the one telling Mike, get your butt back in the locker, get out of here, And so, no, I do like that passion from Mike Brown. We saw it last year in Toronto. They came back and won that game, and I thought they responded the other night against Milwaukee. Dame just hit a great shot.
Yeah, and as you and Katie were, explaining the scene, I was watching Malik, and I could be wrong, but I thought he was saying, we got you. Like, yeah. We got you, coach. We got you. So, yeah, that's a good team-building exercise, but what a price in a game that you should have won. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Guadalupe on Sactown Sports. What's up, G? No, sorry. Oh, waving it off. Sideline communications breaking down, waving that one.
Yeah, the helmet, the Microsoft tablet didn't work.
Yeah, so we'll have to shut down communications on both sidelines. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. Kyle in Phoenix. I'm here in Sacramento. I'll tell you how the return to Red Velvet could impact the Kings at the deadline. Also, Kyle has a player that he wants. We found out, Kyle, how much it would cost the Kings to get that guy. Ooh, okay. We have that next. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
A handoff to McCaffrey. He walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey. Takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Got a drain that's clogged up? Or maybe a toilet? Or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Kenny and Jerry are here from Bell Brothers, and we want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call.
At Bell Brothers, we respect your time by showing up when we say we'll be there. Our technicians are all background checked and drug tested, and will greet you with a smile.
They're trained to do the job right the first time, and they carry over 1,000 parts on their trucks, so they won't have to order something and then come back later.
They leave the work area cleaner than they found it, and your final bill will be the same as they quoted. That's why they call us the No Surprise Guys.
So if you need a plumber, it does make a difference who you call. Call Bell Brothers. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Book your free T-check and free exam at Revive Men's Health Sacramento. Now also offering affordable, cutting-edge weight loss medications. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Interesting conversation going on here on the YouTube chat. Whitey Gleason here in Sacramento. Kyle Draper, of course, getting ready for his TV duties in Phoenix. And Beams or Beamley, Kyle. And I think he's a solid, Drive Guy level 1 listener.
Okay.
I don't think he's ever been on the air, but he's, contributes every day, solid stuff. So I think he's a, legitimate level 1. But he's saying, hey, you got Mike Brown presented himself with reason, and then you got Darko, who lost his composure. So why is Mike Brown fined more? But you made the key point earlier. I mean, in all fairness, Mike Brown did lose his composure on the floor a little bit.
Right.
Or it looked like he was going to tackle somebody.
Mike Brown, let's call it what it is, Kings fans. The dude interrupted play.
Yeah.
He ran out of floor. Him and Connaughton got bumped in the league, and they're announcing Mike Brown's fine. They said, quote, he's been fined $50,000 for aggressively pursuing a game official during live play and for publicly criticizing the officiating.
Mm-hmm.
I think Darko was fined at $25,000 for publicly criticizing, not the aggressively pursuing an official.
Right.
That had to be a tough situation to be in for that first year ref, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's his first full year. He wants to do a good job, I would imagine. And Mike Brown, that's probably the most angriest we've seen Mike Brown so far in his tenure in Sacramento. I mean, that dude was breathing hot fire. I mean, he went from 0 to 60 just like that. And so that had to be a tough situation to be in for that young official.
The last time I'd ever seen anyone that upset was when I suggested to you that Keon Ellis should get some minutes. That's a
dude. That was, you talking about a rant, boy. We went off, man.
That was the last time I saw anyone that upset about anything. But yeah,
you never know what's going to push my buttons, man.
Hey,
Keon Ellis, what? What are you talking?
Yeah. So Mike Brown, he's settled down, ready to go. Big game tonight. Here's the thing about the officiating.
Yeah.
It does, as a guy who's watched the game for a long time, like a lot of our listeners and viewers have, I am not crazy about the way now officials make a call and they got to sit there and just explain it to the players and the coaches. But I don't really think that's contributing to this issue. And I understand, you should explain to players, but you see a guy like Draymond Green, and he's just, screaming at the officials, and they got to sit there and go, yeah, well, that's not the way I saw it. In the old days, a guy like Joey Crawford or whoever, you wouldn't mess with them like that. I think in some ways that was better, but I'm not sure that really has anything to do with so many bad and inconsistent calls that we're seeing now.
Yeah, you bring up Joey Crawford. I remember, didn't Rasheed Wallace get ejected or teed up just for a look, a stare?
Yeah, but I think that was Ronnie Garrettson.
Was that Ronnie? Yeah.
In the playoffs against the Lakers.
You couldn't even stare at these guys
Yes.
without getting, some of the stuff that these players say. I mean, it's like you said, Draymond, he gets away with so much. I mean, it is unbelievable. And so it's just a different era. And I think the NBA is trying to hear out these players and make sure it's an open forum, I guess, if you will.
I understand that. Yeah.
Communication. All right, here's what happened. But back in the day, you mentioned it, Garrettson and Crawford, those guys were no nonsense. Like, you say one thing and you're getting rang up. Like, they were definitely in charge. I think that's what you're seeing, too, a lot more now. I don't feel like the officials have as much control of the game as those guys in yesteryear did.
Yeah. I do think the respect needs to go both ways. The officials show respect to players like, I'll explain to you what happened. But some of the players, not all of them, some of them are fine, but more of them need to show a little more respect to the officials instead, every time someone commits a foul. It used to be there were a few guys that would do that, and they would stand out. Like Danny Ainge was one of them.
Yeah.
Rick Barry was one of them way back when. And now it's the guys that don't complain that stand out, because everybody on every whistle is throwing up their hands and shaking their head like they can't believe it, Kyle.
I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this. But listen up, Kings fans, NBA fans. What we're having now in the NBA is everything is being catered to the athlete, the player. They are the most important thing of an organization because they are the product. I get it. But it didn't used to always be like that. Back in the day, sure, players were great, Larry Bird, Magic, but they were a part of the group. Nowadays, it's like there's a hierarchy in the NBA, and I don't know where officials rank in that, but they're way below players right now. Like, players are catered to. It's their league. They're the product. They're the entertainment. They are the money makers. How many times have we seen or heard broadcasters say fans didn't show up to watch Scott Foster? Fans didn't show up to watch the officials. They showed up. So that's basically taking some of the control away from the officials and putting it in the hands of the players. And now players feel much more emboldened out there.
I think that's a great point. Way back when, and I'm not saying it was better then, but there were clear demarcations. You had, ownership, you had the league, you had the players, and the officials were more in line with the league. Well, the players, and bless them for doing this, they impressed upon the league that, you know what, we're partners. We need to be partners with you. And the league acknowledged that. All right, you're partners. Well, in that process, which again, I understand it makes sense, the officials, they just fell to the very bottom, of the food chain. And now it's like nobody wants anything to do with them. And I think maybe their performance is suffering as a result. I don't know, but officiating is worse than ever. And I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, it's, and somebody raised on social media, I don't think this is the answer. Maybe throwing out a fourth referee out there. And I'm like, that seems to be too much. I think what the problem is, when it comes to the officiating, The game is so fast. We understand that. And these players, as much skill as they have, you also got to be an actor too. Like every foul is embellished.
Yep.
And so you don't know whether it's flopping or, it is, refereeing is more difficult now than it has ever been in the history of basketball, in my opinion, because players have figured out, A, how to sell a call, B, how to stretch the limits of the rules. Look at the step back that James Harden, mastered. Like, who said you had to take 2 steps going to the basket?
Right.
Now I could take 2 steps to the side or 2 steps backwards.
Yeah.
And so, the players have become so clever and so great at what they do that they know how to manipulate. And you have to make that call. It's interesting. My son, and I haven't told this story because it just happened this Saturday. My son, who's 14, Whitey, I've brought him up time and time again. He's an official now. Like, this is his first job. He is a basketball ref.
Wow.
He ref 2 games a week ago, and then he did 3 this weekend. And I'm like, are you sure you want to do this?
You can make some money doing that, huh? Because there's a demand.
He can make, but it's a thankless job, though.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you blow that whistle, everybody's looking at you. And you're going to make half the team happy, and the other team you're going to make unhappy with your call. And I bring this up because even at the youth level, my son was repping 3rd grade basketball, Whitey. And don't you know, now I heard this secondhand, I heard this from him and my wife, don't you know the coach of the 3rd grade team was yelling at him to get his head in the game?
Yeah.
You got, and we've heard these stories before. Refereeing is a thankless job. I was at a game, a youth game, a high school game, and I talked to the referee. I said, why do you do this? Because she was being ridden the whole time. Like, this coach was on her the entire time. I said, why do you do this? Like, what do you get out of this? She's like, well, I get paid and, I'm a former basketball player. But I'm like, you shouldn't have to take this kind of abuse. And it's the same thing at the NBA level. Some of that language that the players use towards these officials, if fans said that to them, they'd be ready to fight. And the officials have to keep their cool, remain professional. It's an unfair job at times.
You had the solution last week when we were, talking about this for whatever reason. And it's such a simple solution that makes so much sense. I don't know why it's not adopted already in basketball and football. And it was the eye in the sky thing, where you take, for example, a couple of those calls in the Bucks game. Certainly the one where De'Aaron Fox is clearly fouled. If you have an eye in the sky watching that game, he can, contact the official. Hey, guys, you missed that one. Fox clearly got hit on the arm. All right, it's a foul.
Right.
I mean, why wouldn't they do something like that?
But that has to be instantaneous, right?
Yeah.
You gotta see it in sort of almost in real time, and so it's difficult. We do have that sort of, eye in the sky and Secaucus on challenges and reviews and replays, and I don't think people understand that. When you have these replays and reviews, the officials there on the floor aren't the ones necessarily making that call. It's some party in Secaucus, making that call. But you're right, man. It's I don't know the answer to it. It's, we also have to understand too, Whitey, and I give the officials a ton of credit. They have egos also. And so if a player, for instance, let's talk about the Scott Foster, Chris Paul situation. If Chris Paul is giving Scott Foster the business time and time and time again, he's only human. And I'm not saying make calls against Chris, but maybe you got a shorter leash, a quicker whistle with Chris Paul, because you've been hearing it for 15, 16, 17 years. It's a tough job, man. It really is, because nobody ever says afterwards, man, that was a great officiated game. Man, those officials, they were the best we've ever had. It's always a negative when you talk about officiating.
No one ever says, what a great call.
Right.
Hey, yes. It's like, well, that's what it is. You're supposed to get that right. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We'll get back to the phones when we come right back. Also look at what appears to be a price for a player that Kyle Draper desperately wants the Kings to acquire. How much would the Kings have to give up to get him? We've got that for you when we come right back Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store. And I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
For sore feet, aching back, knee, or hip pain, come to the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, or Vacaville.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Get a great deal on your new Silverado at the Maida Chevy Silverado Superstore. Great selection, great factory financing and incentive, and great Maida Chevy savings on every new Silverado in stock. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Hey, you're up next.
Ugh, my throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can sing tonight.
Here, try these.
Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Yeah, Vicks VapoCool Drops has maximum strength menthol with a rush of Vicks Vapors.
Ooh, I can already feel it.
I told you. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Vaporize sore throat pain fast with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund is belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with TaxSlayer. Start for free.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Thanks for being with us. We've got a lot to get to today, and we're only with you till 4:30. That's when game night tips off with the Kings and the Suns getting ready to go in Phoenix. At some point here, if not today, we'll have to get to it tomorrow. We have to get to this story about how Sacramento apparently is a legitimate candidate to host the Athletics, perhaps next season, perhaps for a couple seasons. Really passionate reactions to that on Twitter, so we'll get to that at some point. Also, Kyle Draper, I have here on my sheet, I don't know who makes these out, but an Eagles edition of Drape's Takes. We had that on the docket
today. That would be me there, Mr. Gleason. That was me.
They don't even deserve mention on our show, Whitey. The team is so bad. Come on. Why are we doing it? First of all, this is the third segment you've started with the little Eagles talk. What's up with that, bro?
Again, I just need to clarify.
Football playoffs.
Yeah. There's things we need to clarify here. That's all.
Coach Moore in here.
Yeah. Speaking of, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. JR joins us on Sactown Sports. Hey, JR, how are you today, sir?
What's up, boys? How are you?
Good.
What's up, JR?
Hey, real quick, Drapes. I dabble in high school sports coaching and stuff. I have a good friend who is a referee, and I once asked him the same question: Why do you do this take this abuse. He goes, listen, if I could do this on a couple nights a week, my day job is so much easier. I'm such a tougher guy at work. And I thought that was a great answer.
All right, it's toughening him up, right? That's what it's doing for my son, you know? He's going to have that hard shell.
Right. Yeah. If I could deal with uneducated parents as coaches, I can deal with anything in my day job. But hold on. I'm holding a piece of china. Oh, wait, it broke. Oh, that's right. It's broken. My 49er fingers broke this thing. I'm sorry about that. It happens when you break things down and then they just can't get back on their feet after they've been broken.
Thank you, JR. Appreciate that. Not JR's finest work, but I see where he was going there.
Oh, yeah. That's a loser mentality right there, JR, and 49ers fans. If you're going to troll me about being an Eagles fan on this day, that's a loser's mentality because your team hasn't won anything yet. Why don't you just wait till it's all said and done? Because no matter what, there is only one winner. And so, you can talk all the trash now. Don't let my Green Bay Packers come in there.
What? Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
What?
You said who's Green Bay Packers?
My Green Bay Pack. Hey, wow. I got the Jordan Love jersey on order, big fella. Shoot, I'm going to be the biggest Green Bay Packers fan in history.
He's going to have a brat.
Yeah. I did it. I had a brat on the golf course.
And a barley pot. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you selling your soul like that today, brother?
Kyle the cheesehead.
Packers. Yes. Trust me.
Cheesesteak, cheesehead.
Green and gold.
That's great.
This weekend.
Good luck. I mean, that's sure to work out for you, too. That's a high percentage move.
My question is, does your folks back in Philly know you doing this today?
They don't have to know. They don't have to know. You got to understand. Eagles fans right now, we have backed up. We're in the bushes. You won't hear from us again until September. We can't say nothing. And so now my job, how I'm going to approach this, I'm going to be the biggest Niners hater there is. If my squad can't win it, sure as hell I don't want the Niners to win it. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. All right. Let's see where Doug is at. Doug joined us here on Sactown Sports. Thanks for hanging, Doug. What's up?
Boy, what a two-timer, man. And a front runner. You switched, and now they're my Green Bay Packers?
Yeah.
I got two teams. I got two teams in the league. I got two. Hold up. Let me tell you. I got two teams. I got the Eagles and whoever's playing the Niners.
Hold on. Wait, I can't wait for them to say KHTK, home of the Eagles. I can't wait to hear that.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, I'm good. I'm done.
Thank you, Doug. Yeah, go ahead,
You
Kyle.
should be impressed.
Yeah.
That even though we're the home of the Niners, I'm not letting that dictate my opinions on sports.
Impressed?
Because there's a lot of media members, because they get paid by an outlet, because they're on the payroll and it's their hometown team, that all they want to do is kiss people's butt and suck up to the local team. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to tell you how I really feel.
We should be impressed that you root for Team Philly and things didn't go well for them, whereas the 49ers look like now they may have clear sailing all the way to the Super Bowl. And rather than just not say anything, you could just say, oh, okay, that's great. But instead, you're hitching your wagon to the team they're playing.
The
We're supposed to be impressed by that? I'm not impressed.
Whitey, all right, I can't control myself. I should just lay out, be quiet. You are 100% right, dude. I shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, you don't have to say anything.
I just dig myself deeper and deeper and deeper. What am I doing? You're right, man. You're right. I'm not going to say any more. I can't say anything more. My squad is out of it.
Let's see what Nate has to say. Nate, you're on the drive, guys. What's up?
Yeah, I just want to say, as far as officiating, I officiated for 30-plus years at various levels. It's not that hard of a job. If you know the rules, you know how the game is played, you know what to look for, the crowd means nothing. Unless they're throwing stuff on you or coming out to confront you, they mean nothing. As far as the NBA is concerned, though, their biggest problem is they're trying to make sure it's about the entertainment, not the competition. So they're going to make sure that certain markets get catered to versus other markets. If they wanted to cater to competition, then they would look at Oklahoma City and teams like that, Sacramento now. I mean, these are the teams that are up and coming. The Knicks, the Lakers, the Chicagos. Right. You know, those are the entertainment markets. the viewership markets, but realistically, I think they would have a better product if they dealt with the competition and having good competition that we can all respect. We'd all watch it because of its good competitive basketball. That's number one. And number two, they don't have. To me, they don't have officials that really are knowledgeable of the game. They have a look. They all look the same. They all run the same. The women get in there. They all have a look.
Thank you, Nate. Shot clock has expired, but we appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for weighing in.
Nate was breaking it down for us.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Giving us the A through Z.
He broke down what is a big problem for the NBA, that perception that Nate has, that so many of us have, that the NBA is looking out for the big market teams. That's really a bad thing for the league, whether it's true or not, that people think that it's bad for the NBA.
Let me ask you this here. Let me point something out real quick. I'm going to pull this up. I don't know if people can see on the YouTube chat what they're showing on NBA TV right now, but I'm reliving this Bucks-Kings game.
Mm-hmm.
Kings were up 4 with 22 seconds left to go, and we freaking lost that game. What the heck? Like, all right, I digress. Let me ask you this question, though.
Got to make your free throws, huh? Got to make your free throws.
Whitey, how come the NFL doesn't have this problem? Is the NFL market-proof, meaning no matter who's in the Super Bowl or who advances or who wins, people are going to tune in?
No. Well, I can answer that for Whitey. It's definitely it's the same thing that happens in the NFL too.
It's a problem. It's not as it's top of mind, but it's a problem. This year was a problem. Don't you think, Jay?
Yeah,
the fishing was bad.
Saying the NFL wants the Niners to win, or they want the Bills to win. Like, I feel like with the NBA, it's always New York, LA, Warriors now. I mean, with the NFL, I'm not hearing a conspiracy. Maybe with Patrick Mahomes, but the Chiefs got screwed earlier this year too. And so I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would say I think it's more playerized, if that's even a word. I think kind of what you're saying, Drapes, is I think you started to see it, like even this past weekend, people were screaming about the Cowboys getting held. And, it's been many a times you've seen with the Pat Mahomes, the Josh Allens. I always talk about the golden boy, which is the quarterback for the NFL, the Joe Burrows, the Pat Mahomes, the Josh Allens, those guys.
Brock Purdy.
The Brock Purdy. Well, stop all that. Stop all that. I hope he does. Then I would love it. The Aaron Rodgers, those type of characters. I think you see more kickback on that than more when it comes to the NBA, where it's more city, more market.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying, Kyle. Yeah, but the perception is, I think it's true. The NBA, when it comes to the finals, they need LeBron or Steph or somebody in there. And the NFL is like, people are going to watch the Super Bowl no matter who's in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Real fast, fellas, I want to ask this question before I jump in there. One of my pet peeves, and I've been one of the people that's been on this air saying that officiating is at an all-time low when it comes to every sport across the board. Like, literally. I don't remember, as in Whitey, Drapes, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And I know social media has a lot to do with it. Television, all games are on networks. We get to see it more. But I don't remember a time besides like the last 5 years or so where officiating has just almost been thrown under the bus. It seems like every day, almost every week. It didn't happen in the 90s. It didn't happen in the 80s. And again, I know there was no social media. Right. I know the reason why people call the Cowgirls the America's team, because they were always on television every week, that type of stuff. Drake, you've had that. You told that story.
Yep.
But can you guys correct me? Has the officiating compared to like mid 90s, compared to 90, 89, has it been this bad in your guys' eyes?
I don't think so. I would just say I think it's because everything is on TV. Every game is on TV, and every replay is scrutinized.
Right.
And I think a lot of it is officials are choking because there's so much pressure on every call. If I miss this call, I'm the talking point on every TV show. And I think the pressure actually is adversely affecting their performance. I think officials and referees are choking because there's so much scrutiny on the calls.
Yeah, and to Whitey's point, we got so many replays now, slow motion. Everybody's an expert because we can all sit at home and see it with our own eyes. But we also have to remember that these officials are making these calls in a split-second manner. Like, they're going by what they see, and when you look at it with all the replays and everything, and I urge anybody to watch any local broadcast, whether it's NBA, whatever. Like, every call is adjudicated right there. It's like, all right, let's see. Was this a foul? Was that like, I think part of it is our society too, Jay and Whitey. Is like, let me see for myself. I'm an expert. Let me see. I can make a decision. I can decide whether that was a foul because we have so many replays and things like that.
I think we used to be more accepting too as a society of, wow, that was a bad call, but hey, those happen. And now it's like, what? That cost them the game.
Right.
So then, is it Nate? Nate is kind of our caller Nate is kind of barking up the right tree when it's, and you kind of said it, Whitey, is the pressures of being a referee. I would almost approach it differently in the fact, like, I have someone behind me to correct me if I'm wrong.
Simone?
No, well, Simone too, of course, and Henrietta. But the fact of the matter is like, we have replay, we have challenges, we have all these different opportunities to get the call right now. To where the point is, I'm going in there without the pressure. Like, I would go in. Listen, I'm trying to call the game as best as I possibly could, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. But let me say this real fast. And this is, I think, kind of pushes my narrative to having a problem. If that's the case, meaning like we have all these different, you can be wrong and we can correct it or be adjudicated as, like you saying, Drapes, then why can't they be called out? And that's the problem I think most people have, is sometimes it's point blank period wrong. And even what we see, it's still wrong. Then why do we have to be quiet? Why do you have to get fined? Like, why are they never reprimanded? And I think that's the problem people have. They can be wrong. They're human beings.
Hold them accountable. We want to see them held accountable. Yeah, when we come back, as promised, Kyle Kuzma, DeJounte Murray, how much would they cost the Kings? We'll tell you when we come right back. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, everybody, it's Kyle Draper, your boy Drapes for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, if you've been on the fence about buying your first electric luxury car, it's time to get off the fence and go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm challenging you. Test drive any Mercedes-Benz fully electric car or SUV, and you will fall in love. In fact, my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV is out in the parking lot right now. You know, I had a Tesla before this, but once I got the Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, it felt like a brand new driving experience. It's on an entirely different level. Now, here's what I love about my EQS SUV. First of all, from the moment I sit in it, I feel like I'm stepping in a world of luxury. Plus, it's easy charging, and it has heated seats and cooling seats as well. It's an ultimate driving experience. I urge you, go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They're just 30 minutes from Sacramento. They're right off of I-5. Or, of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
Progressive presents 10 things on a plumber's to-do list that are harder than getting a small business insurance quote. Waking up for 5 a.m. plumbing disasters, finding out why water is pouring from the ceiling while telling a customer to leave the room, replacing a pipe in a home from the 1800s, then dealing with invoices or your awkward apprentice or that really weird smell, and then there's breathing and eating and, of course, clogs. But the easiest thing on any small business owner's to-do list, seeing if you could save on the business insurance that's right for you. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
O'Reilly.
Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
What a weekend of NFL football, huh? Drive guys with you. We're talking mostly basketball here. Kyle Draper in Phoenix, Kevin Gleason, Sacramento. Get ready for the Kings and the Suns, but we did have a very eventful weekend football-wise, Kyle, as you well know.
Oh, we start. That's 5 segments in a row, Whitey. You're killing me.
I wasn't going to start there with football, but my producer said, hey, and this is a very sage producer, Jay, and he's like, hey, I should probably kick off with some football here. And I was like, yeah. Well, he knows what he's talking about.
We can talk football all day, baby. You know me, I keep it real. The Eagles were not good enough. I watched that game yesterday, and I'm going to tell you the range of emotions that I had. At one point, it might have been the second quarter, I thought, has Jalen Hurts quit? Like, is he just mailing it in? He just doesn't look right. He doesn't look happy. Football is supposed to be a game where you're having fun, you're making plays. It was awful. And then how about the play calling? Like the play calling offensively was terrible. They had 10 runs, 3 runs, I think, in their first 3 drives or something like that. I mean, there was no imagination, and that's what made the Eagles so great in the past last year, going back to their Super Bowl. Like their offense, their play calling was revolutionary. Like it was imaginative. Now it's just some quick outs, it's just, and then defensively, some of the worst tackling in the history of the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of lack of tackling.
Yeah, lack of and Bradbury, I know he had a great year last year, but that dude has been awful all season long. And so I don't think the Eagles are far off. And Jay asked the question earlier, I think it was Jay, and this was all fair, should Sirianni be fired? I don't know, or will he be? I don't think he will. The question is, should he be? Because when you look at the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, that falls on him. He's the decision maker. And if you could go out there and get a Jim Harbaugh, you could go out there and get a Bill Belichick. I think if you're Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, you go out there and do that. The Eagles have way too much talent for it to be wasted like it was this season.
Yeah, Troy Aikman made a number of great points last night, 2 that stand out. One, as far as Jalen Hurts, as you said, Troy Aikman said at one point, I wouldn't be surprised if he's hurt. There's something wrong with his arm because he just looked like it.
Yeah.
The other thing he said, you talked about the offense. He says, look how many of these patterns, these routes the Eagles are running, and everything is coming back to the quarterback. You go down, and then everybody's coming back, or they're standing there, like spotting up in a zone. No one's actually running the other direction, stretching out the defense. Yeah. And that was a good point. But to me, just I thought we saw a little bit of it with your team. Opening weeks, there was some dysfunction on the sidelines, and it looked like just we talk a lot, probably too much about culture. Whatever the Eagles' culture was last year, it was non-existent this year. At least that's the way it appeared, and it appeared to have an impact on the field as well.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And when you look at the play calling for Brian Johnson, Eagles offensive coordinator, and they raised this on ESPN, and it was a great point. Tampa Bay blitzed 1 billion times.
And you knew they were gonna. Todd Bowles does that. Yeah.
Where's the extra blocker?
Yeah.
Where's the extra tight end to give Jalen Hurts some more time? Like Hurts was running for his life all game. Like he didn't have time for his receivers to even get downfield. And so I just thought they did a terrible job. And if Nick Sirianni is fired, it won't be because he's not a good head coach. To me, it's because the people he put in position, and an offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, head's got to roll for that. And ultimately, he's the CEO. He's the head of the snake, the head of the ship, the captain of the ship. And so that's why he would be bounced if he is.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Ken joins us on Sactown Sports. Ken, thanks for hanging on. What's on your mind today?
Thanks a lot for taking my call, Whitey.
Yeah, you bet, Ken. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. There's two things. One is I think it's patently ridiculous to be talking about firing a coach that literally took you to the Super Bowl last year. I mean, yeah, everything didn't turn out right, but this explains why so many teams have losing organizations is the minute something goes wrong, let's change up everything. It usually takes you a while to get to where you're a consistent organization. And if you turn around and getting rid of people the first time you have a setback, then you build it from scratch over and over and over again. That's why the Chicago Bears been drafted 2 first-round quarterbacks and getting ready to do it again and haven't been good at the quarterback position for years. But I digress. I called to talk about the Kings and my frustration. I pointed it out once again. If this team doesn't learn to shoot free throws, they're going to put De'Aaron Fox at the free throw line in clutch situations, and he's only going to make 1 out of 2. I said once again, this team does things to beat itself time and time again. And quite frankly, that win against Detroit, that was fool's gold. Because any other good team, you lose again by 50 points by starting a game like that. This team, if it wants to go to where we as fans want it to be, they've got to be more consistent with their defensive effort at the beginning of games. And for God's sake, would they stop shooting themselves out of games? There's so many times when teams start hitting threes on the Kings and they feel like we're obligated to shoot those threes right back at them. If they're not going in, you're getting down by more and more points every possession. That's why you look up and you're down by 18 points with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Just my take. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you the next time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Ken. Ken is not one of those fans who was encouraged by the loss to the Bucks. And he makes some great points, obviously.
He makes some great points, and I want to take them one at a time quickly here, Whitey. Let's talk about the free throw shooting. They have to be better. Dead last, 73%. Domantas Sabonis is at 61%. Think about that. He's 2 percentage points from being in the 50s. Like, this is old school Chris Dudley level almost.
And he's a good shooter. We know he's got some touch. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then you look at De'Aaron Fox, 72.6. When you take as many shots as him, have the ball in your hands as much, you're the leader of the team, you have to be better. You 100% have to be better because those are the 2 guys that are going to take the most free throws, and they're 2 of the worst free throw shooters on the team. I'll go down right now. Harrison Barnes, I got the numbers right here, 80.5%. Keegan, 81%. Kevin Huerter, 80.6. Malik Monk, 84.9. Chris Duarte doesn't get to the line a whole lot, 75%. And so what I'm seeing here is your 2 best players, the 2 heads of the snake, as great as they are, one area that they're lacking is free throws. And I was talking to somebody, it might have been an assistant coach. I can't remember who it was. It comes down to concentration. And sometimes these guys get up there and they just fling it up there and they don't understand they're leaving points on the board. I mean, if I'm De'Aaron Fox and we've seen his elevation, his growth, 72% is not going to get it done.
No.
I'd take 78. Give me 78. Like, that should be something that, he makes it a priority. He worked on his 3-point shot. Great job at that. But now let's work on the free throws as well because he's leaving probably 2 to 3, 4 points on the board every single game. Think about it. The dude is averaging right now, De'Aaron Fox, 27.8 points. Knock down 2 more free throws, you're at 30 points a game. I mean, it's frustrating. And also the last caller's second point.
Ken.
His second point about I forget even what it was now.
Well, he was saying your teams shoot threes, make threes. The Kings feel obligated to, we got to keep up, and they shoot threes sometimes even when they're not going in.
Here's the thing, Whitey. If you're a coach and you get the looks that you draw up, it's like being a offensive coordinator. You're drawing up a 10-yard slant route. And it's open every single time. It's open every single time. you keep throwing it. And that's what the Kings are doing. They feel like they are getting good looks, and you live with the result. And we've seen it in the past with this team, especially last season. There were very rarely games when everybody was cold. This year, it feels like we're seeing more and more of that, where everybody's off. But if you're getting wide open threes, like this is what they practice for. This is their whole existence now, is to get wide open threes. And what's Mike Brown's mantra? Let it fly. And so I don't think it'd be different if they were forcing threes or something like that. They're getting good looks. They just aren't making them.
As you know, Kyle, free throws could be big tonight because Phoenix, one thing they do well, they get to the foul line. So you better make your free throws tonight because you're playing a team that's probably going to make a lot of free throws. When we come back, as promised, I keep wanting to get to this, and Kyle says, let's talk about the Eagles. Let's talk about the Eagles. So could you have Kuzma? Could you get DeJounte Murray? Do you want them the way Red Velvet is playing? How much it would cost to get Murray, Kuzma next year with the Drive Guys when we come right back on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's G.
Random thing.
It's totally
algorithm.
Exactly. Algorithm is like, whoa, that's kind of a surprise. How about that?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not going there.
Well, why should you? You're a Packer fan.
I got exactly. I got some things I want to say, but I'm gonna let my Packers do the talking this weekend.
Yeah, Jordan Love, right? Who needs Aaron Rodgers? You got J Love.
You know what? My partner here on the TV side, Katie Christensen,
yes,
is a big Packers fan. So I'm going to support her.
That's nice.
What that's about. I'm going to support her.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
I'll tell you what. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to just say it. Niners fans, you're turning into Warriors fans right now. Yeah,
Don't do that.
The arrogance.
Don't do that.
You know, you hate us because you hate us. It's not a good look, Niners fans. You got to be better than that.
I can't remember.
But here's the thing, Whitey.
Yeah.
If we're keeping it real, at least the Warriors have won something in the last generation.
Yeah.
The Niners haven't even won anything, and their fans are arrogant. I just don't get it, man.
I forget who it was. Somebody today before the show, someone was asking me, "Oh, are you going to talk about the Eagles today?" And yeah, probably. And whoever was said, Kyle's going to say that 49er fans are like Warrior fans. Like,
no, did somebody really say that?
Yeah, I think so.
Still hating, man. That's like an art form.
They got my playbook, huh? They know my game plan.
Yeah, you've handled it well. You handled it well up until the point where you said you're a Packer fan, and we'll see how that works out for you. But,
you can talk all the trash now. I'll let my Green Bay Packers come in there.
There you go.
Oh, Jay, you clipped that? You said, oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. One thing that I think you and I actually agreed on recently was the idea of the Kings maybe acquiring DeJounte Murray. Well, we have here now, this is according to, it is considered the source, your friend Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer. He says, quote, from people I've spoken with, the Hawks are asking for 2 firsts in return for Murray, who would prefer to join a team with a chance to make an immediate playoff run. So far, no one has met their demands. We also have from Sam Vicini at The Athletic, Kyle Kuzma. He says, league sources pegged Kuzma's current price tag to be something in the vein of 2 first-round picks or equivalent value. And then he says his opinion, I'm skeptical another team will meet that price, so we'll see if the Wizards have any wiggle room or if the marketplace substantially changes before February, end quote. One more note on the trade market. I know I texted you Friday to let you know that you mentioned Wiggins last week, and I was like, I don't want him. He played really well Friday, and he played pretty well yesterday against Memphis, so I'm going to keep my eye on Wiggins, but there you go. That's how much it would cost to get DeJounte Murray or Kyle Kuzma, according to reports. You interested still?
Yeah, I think so, because, if you're Sacramento, your most valuable assets are your draft picks, even though they aren't as valuable as what they were a couple of years ago. And if you're Monty McNair, if you're the Sacramento Kings, you have to add talent some way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be by way of free agency. We know that. That's not going to happen. We're not going to get a big Pascal Siakam's not walking through that door this summer. And so you got to do it by way of trade. You're not going to have a lottery pick and try and add somebody like that. And so I think I would do it. Especially, I really like DeJounte Murray. I really like DeJounte Murray. He's a guy that can, handle the ball, be a lead guard if you need him to be. He could be clutch as well. Kyle Kuzma would be great. I just worry, like I said before, taking shots away from my guy Keegan Murray, because I need to see his development. I'm really high on Andrew Wiggins because I think Andrew Wiggins can affect the game. If he's in his right mind, Whitey, can affect the game without having to score. And I think you need that on this Sacramento Kings team. Wiggins can affect the game defensively. He can match up with the Tatums of the world, with the KDs of the world in terms of trying to lock them down and play great defense. I think that's what we need. And so I'm still very high on Andrew Wiggins right now.
Yeah, he doesn't need the ball a lot to be, A, helping you and B, happy. So, yeah, I was surprised how Friday he played so well. And you know who else played well that I didn't mention here in that game Friday between the Warriors and the Bulls was Zach LaVine. He played really well. Yeah, but he's just so freaking expensive. And I would rather have, of the two, of Zach LaVine or Herter, I would rather have Herter, considering all things, including the price. I'm not saying Herter's better than LaVine, but considering what I'd have to pay LaVine and what it would do to my salary structure, I think I'd rather have Herter. He's playing better now. Does that mean I keep him, or does that mean I'm more likely, or the Kings are more likely to trade him because now his value is going up?
That's $1 million question, right? I mean, it's like, same thing with Harrison Barnes. If Harrison Barnes isn't playing well, does that hurt his trade value? If he is playing well, does that help it? Same thing with Kevin Huerter. Like, if Kevin Huerter was the Kevin Huerter of last year, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Right.
Because he'd be exactly what you needed. He'd be doing exactly what you wanted. I thought that Milwaukee game, he was arguably the best player next to Domas on the floor for Sacramento in that game. His rebounding, he had 10 rebounds. And so if they can unleash him, I think I would rather keep Kevin Huerter than trade him. I think what he gives this team from a shooting, from a spacing, he's not the problem when he's making shots. The problem is he hasn't hit a lot of shots. I'm looking at the YouTube chat out here, and some people are saying, if you get a Wiggins, that hurts the development of Keegan Murray. I think if you get any of those guys we mentioned, the Zach LaVines, the Kuzmas. That is what's going to hurt the development of Keegan Murray. I will say this, though, Whitey, about your point about the salary structure. No matter what the Kings do, that's going to be it. It's not like they can go out there, get this guy, and then go out there and sign somebody this offseason. And so I don't think it would upset the salary structure as much, and it won't hamper you from doing anything else. Maybe you're in the luxury tax or second tax apron or something like that. I haven't looked at the numbers. But in terms of moves you can make going forward, I think the Kings are going to be limited. So whoever they get, this is going to have to be who they rock with. This is going to have to be their nucleus going forward.
I agree with you on Wiggins. I don't see Wiggins really infringing on the development of Keegan the way that some of the other guys could, just because they demand more shots. I mean, you made the point eloquently. I don't need to go over it again, but yeah, I mean, that's certainly true. I've seen, we've all seen Wiggins play a lot. He's not a real demanding guy. Sometimes that's people wanting him to want the ball more, but he'll fit in with what you're doing. That's not the issue. The other thing is, I think it's really important to keep in mind, no matter who we're talking about here, the Kings offense is very similar to the Warriors offense, and it's based on one thing: movement, player movement and ball movement. So if you have a guy, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but you have a guy that he gets the ball and he's going to just get his, that is counter to the whole offense. Right. You need to make sure you have a guy who's a good passer, who can move the ball, and a guy who can move without the ball. Those guys fit this scheme. Somebody who doesn't fit that is likely to gum up the works, and you just don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need a heavy isolation player, like a Luka Doncic or something like. As much as great as Luka is, and of course any team would take him, but his impact on an offense really slows things down. We talked about some names, and I'll bring up another guy because we're mentioning a lot of big names out there. Zach LaVine, DeJounte Murray. These are guys that multiple teams will be after. Does Kelly Olynyk register on your radar at all? Does that do anything for you in terms of adding depth, or is that a position we don't need because we got Trey Lyles playing so well now?
Yeah, I think he's a really good player, but that's my first feeling is I feel like it's a little bit redundant. Am I wrong with what I already have in the front court?
Yeah, but I just wonder because one thing we saw in that Milwaukee game the other night, Mike Brown tightened his rotation, and we saw Sasha only because Keegan went out. But it would be nice to have another ball mover. You can go small, take Domas out, run Kelly Olynyk at the 5. And I was talking to Jay Triano about this, and he was saying, Kelly Olynyk would be amazing in this offense.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of his ability. I don't know if they necessarily, they may have bigger fish to fry and other holes to fill. It's just, I don't know, man. We got 3 weeks left before the trade deadline. If you're Monty McNair, you have to do something, right? Like, I don't know if this Kings fan base can be patient. Think about it. We lose a game the other night to Philly with no Joel, and we're ready to blow it up. And, like we've been, and so I don't know. I don't know if we can go into this trade deadline and not do something.
It'd be a tough sell.
Helps your team this year, Whitey.
Yep.
And no offense to my guy Kessler Edwards, I need something with a little more pizzazz, a little more pop than that kind of move.
Yeah, it would be a tough sell. You mentioned Keegan. We hope to find out the latest on Keegan and his hip situation.
Yeah, I think he's going to play today.
Yeah.
I think he is going to play.
All right, then we don't need to ask Brendan Nunes about that.
We got our guy.
He will join us next with the latest on Keegan and where the Kings are here with the deadline. Brendan Nunes, our insider, next year at Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As the world keeps changing, so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're designed to help protect against recent variants. Learn more about a COVID-19 vaccine option at schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Nachos! Hey, I'll take some. And some Frank's Red Hot. Nah. You're just gonna eat these boring nachos with no flavor. Frank it up! Frank it up! This guy finally gets it.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Floor and Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wings Day Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from in the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app. Find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings. Just wing it.
Visit new and exciting places across the U.S. On Amtrak, it isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. Without any busy airports or cramped car rides, with no middle seats, extra legroom, and first-class private rooms. New adventures are just an Amtrak away. Book now at Amtrak.com.
Don't miss out on New Year's savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Low prices and payments on your favorite new Kia models. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia, right here in Sacramento for over 25 years. Or FolsomLakeKia.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
It's time to buck up, Sacramento. The professional bull riders are back. PBR Sacramento Wrangler Long Live Cowboys Classic will take over downtown's Golden One Center this February 2nd through 4th. 3 huge nights of edge-of-your-seat bucking, featuring some of the biggest bulls and toughest cowboys on the planet. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. Get your tickets for a weekend of non-stop bucking action this February 2nd through 4th.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Oak Ridge Winery.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown
talking some trash.
How many have the Eagles?
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
Eagles
come
played
on.
one.
I
Yeah,
tell you
so,
what, this the road to the Super Bowl, it is paved golden for the Niners. This is
Oh,
the
here he
easiest
come with
road
the excuses,
in the-
Whitey.
I know.
No, Jay, keep it real, Jay. It's about this is probably the easiest road. Like I could argue, let's say San Francisco is the best team in the NFL. All right,
I
let's
think
say
we
I
could
give
say
you
that.
that. All right,
Yeah.
the next
Bold
four
take.
best teams are in the AFC.
I thought your Packers are up there.
Don't
This
sleep
week
on
they'll be
J
there.
Love.
No, but if you could argue, I mean, the Packers are a 7 seed. Come on, let's keep it real. Look at the quarterbacks in the AFC versus the quarterbacks in the NFC. The NFC quarterbacks are like, you know, when you're going to go car shopping and you go to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, like I do, those are the AFC quarterbacks. Meanwhile, you go to Joe Schmo's used car lot in Folsom. That's the ones in the NFC.
Joe's a sponsor. Watch it. Joe Schmo's.
Apologies
That's
to
what
you,
I'm
Mr.
saying.
Schmo.
We got
I
a
know.
Mercedes set of quarterbacks versus Datsuns. Remember Datsuns back in the day, Whitey,
Yes.
in the 80s?
That's now
you know,
Nissan.
broken down Chevys,
Yeah.
you know, in the NFC. Like the quarterbacks in the NFC. Oh, come on. Not even close.
Then how did the Eagles and the Cowboys lose?
No, the Eagles are a bad team.
Oh,
I've never wavered from that the last 6-7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They are a horrible team. They quit back in December. We all knew they were going to lose yesterday. And so for you guys to take glee in that and excitement,
it's
in
a
that,
weird-
that-
Jay-
that tells me more about you than it does my team and me.
I would probably be upset if I were you,
Shame
but
on me then.
the way
I'm gonna own it.
Eagles music keeps coming up here randomly. It
Jay,
is
you're
weird.
terrible.
It's a little weird. Nice stuff to join us
David
now.
waited all season for this moment, man. This is,
We do
It's
have
all
the
good.
Kings and the Suns tonight in Phoenix. Kyle is in Phoenix, and joining us now, our Sactown Sports Kings insider, Brendan Nunez. How are you, Brendan?
I'm good. You know, I don't mind if we stick on Niners Eagles for half a sec because used cars in Folsom are pretty nice and might be enough to drive me to Vegas for the Super Bowl, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody a Niners fan now.
You you spent a lot of time with Mike Brown before and after games. So what was your reaction, Brendan, to his post-game performance in Milwaukee, for which, of course, he was fined $50,000 today?
Yeah, honestly, probably a lot of laughing. I don't know if I would have been able to contain myself if I was in the room in Milwaukee. It was, I think, understandable, though. I kind of appreciated it. We've never seen that before, but that's as transparent as it gets. You know, you don't have to wonder at all, what was he thinking? What was he worrying about? He told us very straight up that these are the things and these are the discrepancies that he's worrying about. And that's kind of what led him to an eventual breaking point. And it is a little funny to me that I expected it to be clips from like the play before he got tossed, but no, they're clips from a while beforehand. And I guess this was a built up frustration with him, and just kind of similar to when he got tossed out in Toronto. So, you know, honestly, I kind of appreciated the transparency.
Brendan Nunez joining us here, Sactown Sports 1140. Brendan, when you look at, you know, that game against the Bucks, how did you come away from that? Feeling encouraged that they played well, or was that a brutal loss? How did you look at that game the other night?
Yeah, probably more encouraged. You know, I think that Keegan Murray going out obviously was a big part of that. He was kind of the one that was checking Dame for a good majority there, and probably would have been the case towards the end of the game, I would guess. And I think that even though the Bucks haven't been performing the way that a lot of people expected throughout the course of this year, specifically defensively, I think that it was their offense, the Kings that is, looked similar to what it looked like last year. And I don't feel like we've seen that all too often. And they still had the same, obviously, defensive question marks throughout the course of that game. And that's just what's going to happen when you lose a game putting up 142 points, even if it's an overtime battle. But, yeah, I mean, I felt pretty good about their performance in that one because I felt like they looked closer to what they did last year than they have most of the season.
Brendan Nunez is with us, of course, our Kings insider. All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. I want to ask you about Kevin Huerter. His jump shot was back at least for one game. If it does return to the land of the living, how do you think Kevin Huerter becoming Kevin Huerter again, Brendan, how do you think that might impact the Kings and what they do at the trade deadline?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it'll have an impact on the trade deadline necessarily at all because I think there was a belief that Herter's shot would always come back around. If you think back to last year, he started the year really hot and then obviously slowed down, but he still ends at 40%. And it was a career high for him, but we know that he's a good shooter. It's the questions about all the other things, right? It's how much can you impact the game defensively with your rotations? Can you rebound effectively? And he has been a better rebounder, to his credit, throughout the course of this season. So I think it's really helpful, obviously, to the Kings' current roster construction, but I don't know that it changes much in the way that he's viewed in the trade market, whether that comes to the Kings or teams around the league.
Brendan, when you look at it, and you brought up the rotation, when you look at what we saw against Milwaukee, Mike Brown tightened that rotation. You know, outside of Keegan getting hurt and them using Sasha, he really went with an 8-man lineup. Do you think that's something he'll settle on, and this what we'll see more going forward, him tightening the rotation, or was that just a one-time thing because of the opponent?
I think it could be a thing moving forward. You know, I think the word that you use, searching, is very accurate because he's been transparent that that's kind of what's going on here, is that after really the top 7 in the rotation, and that's if you're including Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes in that starting lineup, who have obviously had their woes and issues throughout the course of this season, you really have Malik Monk and Trey Lyles, and then who's your backup big going to be? And I think it, for what it's worth, should be Alex Len over JaVale McGee, but I understand that there are some things that JaVale brings, specifically when it comes to being a lob threat, but it wouldn't surprise me if it just kind of stays shortened because nobody's really separated themselves from the pack. And I feel like Mike Brown is getting a lot of crap for this, really, for like searching and trying to figure it out. Like at this point of the year, you should already have it figured out. And to me, it points more towards the roster construction because I don't know about you guys, but I agree. Nobody else has really solidified themselves to the point where I'm like, they should be in the rotation every single night.
Yeah, we've got Brendan Nunes with us. And Brendan, to your point, well, I think you might have tweeted something. Maybe it was Frankie, not to get lost in the numbers, but Alex Len, his offensive and defensive rating, they're like off the charts, right? Like 125 offense when he's on the floor and then like 106 defense. So I don't think you don't necessarily notice it when he's on the floor, but there's no question to this point, the team has played extremely well when Alex Len is on the court. There's no denying that.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It was me. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but he's been playing extremely well. I think he's a really good screen setter, and I still think that pick and roll game that obviously everybody talked about with Malik and JaVale kind of exists with Alex. It's just Malik has to throw different passes, but he's been so good as a playmaker that I trust him to be capable of that, just throwing a bounce pass instead of throwing the lob. You know, when it comes to Alex and JaVale, offensively, I kind of think it's night and day. You know, for me, JaVale is a lot of high highs and low lows, and I think there's a level of consistency that Alex brings that's been pretty valuable. And I think not having him for something a little over a dozen games this season because of that ankle injury probably affected the Kings more than maybe some people would have realized, because he was fairly big for them. He was kind of just the backup center in the postseason last year. And I think that was deserved. And I think his lack of minutes last year could have to do more so with some off-court stuff rather than his on-court production. And that's nothing that necessarily he would have done wrong, but just sort of some potential complications that could have lied there. And I think that he's been really effective. And in my mind, until he gives the Kings a reason to look towards JaVale, it's his job to lose.
Brendan Nunes joining us. Brendan and Whitey, I want to give both your thoughts on this. We had heard so much about a possible double big lineup before the season started, and we had never seen it really, but we saw it against the Milwaukee Bucks. What did you think of Alex Len out there with Domantas Sabonis, and could we see that more often? We finally got to see that double big lineup.
Yeah, it definitely stood out to me when it happened, obviously, because like you're saying, it's something that we've heard about a good bit, but never really happened. You even look back to last year with Rashawn Holmes, there was a lot of talk that, you know, maybe these guys are going to play together. And with Alex Len, it might make a little more of a difference because he can somewhat space the floor. Like really offensively, they just kind of had him sitting in a corner the whole time, and he shot one that honestly looked like it hurt for him to even attempt, but and did not go down. But he's okay in that aspect, and I think offensively they'd be fine. It's just, to me, positions are about who can you defend.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if they roll with that more moving forward, or if that was very situational, because Milwaukee practically runs two bigs, right? You want somebody with a little more meat on him to really be able to contain Giannis and his drives to the rim. And while Brook Lopez shoots, he's definitely a little bit more slower footed, and I think an okay matchup there. So honestly, I'm not really sure how much we're going to see it moving forward in the balance between that two, but I was definitely intrigued to see it and thought it worked pretty well in that matchup.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Brendan, for what that's worth. Liked it, but I'm not holding my breath till the next time we see it again. Before we let you go, I wanted to try something new. This is just a random question for you on the text line, and it comes from a Jay Jones. Hey, Brendan, who do you think was a bigger disappointment this year, the Cowboys or the Eagles?
You know, just because Drapes is on here, I got to say the Eagles, right?
Oh my God! You know what, Brendan? All right, I'm gonna see.
You be right,
Thursday.
Brendan. Don't let him punk you.
No, I'm gonna see him on Thursday. Usually, when I
I'm
walk
just gonna
in,
say Jay Jones sounds awfully familiar to Jay Johnson.
I know. You know what's funny about Brendan?
What's
Usually,
that?
when I see him at the game, he says, "Hey, Mr. Draper, how are you?" You know, he's very reverent to me. You know what I mean? He's like, "I appreciate your work and everything." Now, all of a sudden, he want to throw some shade at me. I see how it is. Everybody take a shot.
Fun, Drape.
All right. Thanks, Brendan. We appreciate it. We will see you Thursday night. So you get to hang out with Mr. Draper again. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks, Whitey, and thank you, Mr. Drapes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Brendan. Huh. Yeah, it's weird, the questions that are coming up today.
I know, man. That's geez. Jay Johnson or Jay whatever.
Yeah.
I can take it, man. I'm here for the smoke, baby. Your boy ain't going anywhere.
Appreciate that. Yes, absolutely do. When we come right back, I don't think we've talked enough about this trade situation, and it's really just warming up.
Yeah.
Don't know if you saw this, Kyle, Mr. Draper, pardon me. Top 35 names on the NBA trade market, and the 5 who would, according to the person who put this list together, be the best fits for the Kings. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Rain is going to go through the area as we go through the night tonight. The rain will taper off overnight. Tomorrow will be a dry day with highs in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The new year is here at Folsom Lake Kia. Shop my favorite dealer, Folsom Lake Kia, for low interest rates, low payment with 0 down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia for over 25 years right here in Sacramento.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopier.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Start your 2024 grilling season right with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. The Napoleon P500 Series gas grill will turn you into a grilling pro. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
The world has changed a lot these last few years. You can do pretty much anything from your home, including order your new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Check out our great selection at StocktonHonda.com or come in today and get pre-approved all in the blink of an eye. Stockton Honda makes buying a car simple and stress-free.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
All right, it's strange what the music we play when we come back is randomly chosen, and we've had some strange choices today. Hal Draper, he's in Phoenix. Do you know what this song is, Drapes? Is this familiar to you?
I can't quite place it, though. I can't quite place it.
Yeah, it's a TV show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's Simone. Am I right? What is this, Simone?
It's always
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah,
it's right. It don't matter. You see, Whitey.
Wow.
Unlike Niners fans, Eagles fans don't live and die with the game, bro. We got lives to lead. We got families to feed. We got work. We got to be productive in our daily lives. We don't just live and die with one football team or one football game. Come on, man.
You know, Mac on the show, Rob McElhaney, he actually was at this. I'm serious. He's at the Emmys, and he was watching the game last night at the Emmys. Yeah, because they've had a couple. Seriously, they've had a couple Eagles themed and Phillies themed episodes. Big sports fans. So
can I tell you a quick story?
Please.
So I'm out running the streets in Scottsdale last night. You know what you going to do on an off night?
What's
right?
the temp, by the way, right now at night there?
It was probably like upper 40s or so.
Oh, okay.
Low 50s.
Yeah.
You know, it's got into the 60s, high 60s during the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rolling through Scottsdale on a Monday night. The game was pretty much over. I knew what was, we were down 26-9 or whatever it was. And don't you know, I'm in Old Town Scottsdale, and I see this large Eagles flag flying. And I'm like, my people, I found them. But the game was ending.
Oh.
It was an Eagles bar, and I'm not lying here. They were some of the most depressed people I've ever seen in my life walking out of that bar. I felt bad. Normally, I would have pulled over, went in there, would have been singing Fly, Eagles. But I just kept rolling. I put my head down. didn't even look their way because it was pathetic, man. It was a sad sight.
Was the flag at half-mast?
No, it was, man. It was, seriously. It's like, man, if the Eagles would have been winning, it would have been lively in there.
Yeah.
Your boy would have pulled over, hopped out, went in there to join my people. Instead, I just called it a night. I said, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I can't take any more depression. This is it.
Yeah.
So I just wrapped it up, man. It was tough.
I hope you had a good holiday. One of the things I'll tell you, had a great day with Shinya yesterday, but one of the things I'll remember about MLK Day yesterday, this year was, did you see this, that the Fab Five got back together yesterday?
I saw that.
That's
yes,
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
C-Web and Jalen Rose.
Yeah.
And it's
Ray Jackson
and Jimmy King. Yeah. And because
Juwan Howard.
Yeah, Juwan Howard just recently underwent heart surgery. So they all, I guess, went to support him. And then Michigan destroyed Ohio State. So that's so cool that they finally got back together. Because I know Webb and Jalen Rose, they've kind of been at odds a little bit over the years, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, right? And,
yeah.
I think Juwan Howard was sort of the, glue that held it all, tried to be the mediator and get everybody back. And let's not forget, C-Web and the University of Michigan also had some issues over the years as well. And so that was one of the all-time great teams, and they changed college basketball.
Yes.
And so, no, it was good to see. It was good to see.
We got to get C-Web on the show at some point, somehow, some way. Got to make that happen this year. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Mark has been hanging on. Mark, you're on with the Drive Guys. Hello. What can we do for you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Hey, Kyle, you said you grew up in Philly, right?
Yes.
All right. So I was watching the game yesterday, and they flashed into the stands, and there were 3 Philly fans with paper grocery bags over their heads. And I was thinking, man, if they can be identified, Philly fans ain't going to put up with that, right? They're going to throw batteries at them, I would think, upon their return, right? You can't be a Philly fan and ever put a grocery sack over your head. I mean, come on now.
I agree with you. We're not Saints fans. That's not us. We're a proud franchise.
Yeah.
We take our L's like a
You were in the playoffs, Super Bowl,
Right.
and then you were in the playoffs last night. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not, dude, we hang our heads high. Trust me on that. We won a Super Bowl in the last decade, unlike a lot of other franchises.
So you think those were probably 49er fans just dressed as Eagle fans?
Exactly. I wouldn't put a surprise past them, to be honest with you.
Jay joins us on Sactown Sports. Hello, Jay. How do you do?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks.
Good. I just wanted to briefly speak on, in trades, and especially the most important thing was how we could have avoided that loss the Kings could have against the Bucks on Sunday. It was Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Sunday game.
Yes.
Yep.
So, it's no news. Everybody knows Damian Lillard. Besides, De'Aaron Fox winning Clutch Player of the Year, Damian Lillard is right up there with him pretty much. The ball goes straight to his hands with about 5 seconds left. And, I called this probably with about 20 seconds left on the clock, I think, when De'Aaron Fox got fouled, or it was Monk. But long story short, my strategy would have been to, foul Dame, or don't even let them inbound it and have an off-ball foul because there was about 5 seconds left, and force them to make both free throws to go to overtime. What do you guys think about that strategy?
That's tough because it was a 2-point game, and I never hear of anyone saying foul them to put them on the line so they can tie it.
When you're winning, you don't do that when you're winning.
Yeah, you don't do that. The problem was that if you look at the replay, and Mike Brown talked about this, Domas got to come up higher on the help. Like, it's 5 seconds left. This is Dame Lillard. You can't be below the 3-point line in that situation. You got to meet him up there at the logo. And so that's what happened. I think it was De'Aaron trying to check Dame. He needed some help.
Yeah.
He needed to send a second guy up there, and Domas was too far back, and Dame pulled up from 32 and knocked it down.
Yeah, he's not the first person I've heard with that theory, but I'm with you, Kyle. I mean, when you're winning, you don't send the other team to the line. But yeah, Mike Brown even said that before he went on his rant or whatever it was. I believe he even said we needed to blitz. We had to blitz Dame there. So when we come back, a look at the top names in the trade market and those who, according to the guy who put the list together, are the best fits for your Kings next year. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Get $3 off coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get to the action in Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, seminars, and show info. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Hey, Jess, want to come for a ride on my motorcycle? You know, we can talk about our feelings and explore our emotional compatibility.
I thought you'd never ask.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure the motorcycle is always ready for your dream girl. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper, also known as Drapes, here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. That's where I got my gorgeous black-on-black EQS SUV. I'll be honest, it's the most stunning car I've ever owned. And let me tell you why I love it. First of all, the minute you step inside, you feel like you're driving a luxury vehicle. Plus, I love the onboard navigation system. And I tell you what, my kids just love the front seat and rear seat heating option. You know how it is up here in Northern California. You got to have that during the winter. And of course, during the summer, you got to have seat cooling. Well, my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV has that as well. Go see my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They believe, guys, that when you buy the world's finest car, it should be an experience you'll never forget. It's the greatest car shopping experience I've ever had. They were tremendous. The ease of buying, they just made it super simple. It's just 30 minutes from Sacramento, right off of I-5. And of course, you can always go online at mbofstockton.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Oak Ridge Winery.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Yeah, I guess this one is for you, Kyle Draper. Kevin Glaze here in Sacramento. Kyle Draper standing by in Phoenix. We take you up to game night, bottom of the hour. Henry Turner and Scott Marshall get you ready for the Kings and the Suns. Philadelphia Freedom. Elton John. Man.
Yes, you guys are giving it to me today. You know, as my guy Brian on the YouTube chat though says, Kyle, I got to give you some credit, man. You're taking it like a champ.
You are.
Good shows as usual. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
This is what I do, Whitey.
Yeah.
I'm going to dish it out and I'm going to take it. And I tell you what, don't let my guy Jordan Love get the better of you this weekend. Oh my God.
J-Love.
We got a show Monday, right? All right. If the Niners lose, I'm telling you, Niners fans, you best not listen because your boy is going to be on one. I'm not even going to say any words. I'm going to just laugh for 4 hours straight or 2.5 hours straight or whatever it is.
You know what else is on the chat? I'm sure you've seen this. She's the nicest listener, and she's a big Sasha fan, Emmy, and she usually is like, Sasha needs to play more, which I appreciate that. Love Sasha, but Emmy weighs in with this. Emmy says, Draper, I'm glad that Philadelphia lost.
Emmy, more like Eminem. Wow.
Unbelievable. Emmy weighs in all the time, but it's all about Sasha, right? Every tweet, every call is about Sasha. Now Emmy's taking shots at my squad. Is that how far we've fallen? No offense, Emmy. I love you. Is that how far we've fallen?
Yeah.
Even Emmy is taking shots.
That surprised
switching up the game, taking shots at
yeah.
Unbelievable.
We'll get to some of these potential trade targets for the Kings first. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Philip, who's been hanging on. Hey, Philip, thanks for hanging. You're on with the Drive Guys. What can we do for you?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Talking about taking shots. Remember what I called and I asked how much Kerr got fined for talking mess about the refs?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you remember how much? Because I don't recall him getting fined.
Let me. That's a good question. Let me.
Very good question.
I would assume 25,000 because that's the standard. But let me look. Let me look.
Yeah, if you Google it, the latest fine that pops up is like 2021 or something.
Really interesting.
Thank you, Philip. Yeah, we will check that. And by the way, to the point that Kyle made earlier, Anthony Slater reported that the going rate for that type of thing is $25,000, but the league felt apparently that Mike Brown had to be fined for that, and then also what he did on the court, which was another $25,000. So,
yeah. And you know what? It's going to hurt. 50,000 is 50,000, but he's earned some respect from his players. Like I think what we saw the other night brings them even closer. It can only help. I don't think there's a single player in that locker room looking at Mike Brown saying, Mike, what are you doing? You can't do that. Like everybody was looking and saying, you know what? Coach is right. And he had the video proof to back it up. So now they know their coach will go to bat for him.
Yeah, here's a Steve Kerr fine, but it looks like it's goes back a ways. So a great question, Philip. We'll look into that. That is a great question. Here's the deal on the potential trade targets. Got a list here from The Athletic, Kyle. Maybe you've seen it. And they have 35 guys. 35 top names in the trade market. Run them down real quickly and tell you which guys, according to whoever put this together, which, let's see, that would be Sam Viceni, which ones are fits for the Kings. Okay, so Number one on his list is Pascal Siakam, and he has the Kings among teams that he thinks would be a good fit. 2 is Murray, and he has the Kings on there. DeJounte Murray. 3, Zach LaVine. He doesn't list the Kings. 4, DeRozan. Doesn't mention the Kings. 5, Kyle Kuzma. Yes, Kings listed as a good fit there. Caruso is 6. He doesn't have the Kings on there. Doesn't mean he's right. 7th is Bogey. He does not have the Kings on there. Then Kevin Huerter's 8th. Then Bojan Bogdanovic is 9th. Yeah. Kings are not listed there. Daniel Gafford at 10. Kings are one of the teams he has as a good fit for Gafford. Then it goes Malcolm Brogdon, Tyus Jones, DeAndre Hunter at 12.
Ooh, that would
Sam
be.
Vicente says yes, he would be a good fit for the Kings. Capella Olynyk. He doesn't see the Kings as a fit for Olynyk. I know we talked about that. Gordon Hayward, Chris Paul, Buddy Hield, Terry Rozier, Deshaun Tate, Royce O'Neal, Gary Trent Jr., Markelle Fultz, Andre Drummond. DeLon Wright at 28 is the only other one on the list that Sam Vicente says is a good fit for the Kings. So there's 5. Siakam, Kuzma, but then some of the lesser names, Gafford, Hunter, and DeLon Wright. Gafford, Hunter, or Wright, do they do anything for you, Kyle?
I think DeAndre Hunter does. 26 years old, long, athletic, good defender. Pair him with Keegan. I don't think he hinders Keegan Murray's development. I think Keegan would, be a better offensive option. And so, no, I actually like DeAndre Hunter. I wonder, does he list what kind of package it would take? Like what you would have to, I'm going to pull that up right now also, what you would have to give up for a guy like DeAndre Hunter, because I think it says late first round pick or high seconds and a prospect. I would do that in a heartbeat. I think DeAndre Hunter, 6'8", a 7'2" wingspan. He's always been a terrific on-ball one-on-one defender.
Yeah.
So that sounds like exactly who we need.
Yeah, he can make this again, according to Sam Vicente in The Athletic. Hunter can make open catch and shoot threes, but doesn't tend to take a ton of them, often preferring to find his way into mid-range areas. So, yeah, if the Kings are not willing to part with what it would take to get one of the bigger names, I think this is maybe the type of guy we've been talking about, right? Because we've been wondering who's a guy that's maybe not quite of that caliber, but could be available. He's just one of the Hawks that you like, so maybe there's a major deal with the Hawks in the offing.
Yeah, and if DeAndre Hunter, if you can get him for a first-round pick, that's a no-brainer in my eyes. This guy's 26. Sam Vicente says he sort of appeared to reach his fully realized form, but I still think he has room to grow. I still think he can be a much improved shooter as well. And so, no, I love this guy. I would, first-round pick, sign me up.
Yeah, he was the 4th overall pick in 2019.
Yeah.
So that's a name to keep in mind. DeAndre Hunter. What about Daniel Gafford? What did you mean? That surprised me a little bit.
I love Daniel Gafford. High energy guy, physical guy, can play above the rim.
Good defender.
Rebound, can defend. But is that a position we need? Are we talking about him at the 5 spot, right? Our boy Alex Len has been balling out. And whoever you bring in, Domas, when it comes time to win, is going to be playing 38 minutes a game. And so are we really going out there and giving up a big asset, a player and a pick for Daniel Gafford to come in and play 15 minutes? And so I don't think that moves the needle as much as some of these other guys we've mentioned.
Right. I'm with you. I think if I understand you, he's a good player, but the fit, it's funny how some of these guys I think are better fits he doesn't list. I don't see Gafford as a great fit for the current Kings roster.
No, I don't. And especially, when Domas goes out, is Gafford a passing big man? I don't see him. I don't see him as a ball handling, passing kind of big man. And so I actually think we're A-okay on the center spot, unless it's an obvious upgrade at that backup spot. But I'm okay with that. I think somebody to play along Keegan Murray, like a DeAndre Hunter, I think would be a good upgrade for this team.
And then last but not least, number 28 on this list, DeLon Wright. Let's see here. He fits the bill, according to Sam, for any team in need of a good backup guard who can log important playoff minutes. To me, he might be a nice piece for a team that's really close. For the Kings, I don't know if he makes that big of a difference compared to what else they already have.
Exactly. I don't think that moves the needle as much. Solid player, solid player. But, if we're talking about a championship, moving us closer to the championship, I don't know if he does that.
Yeah. And then he's got Harrison Barnes 30th, 32nd on this list. Evan Fournier is 35, Joe Harris 34, Jock Landale 33rd.
Okay.
32nd is Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins.
Sign me up, yo. Sign me up.
You could have him. It looks like if you want to, I think Mark Spears was just on ESPN saying a GM told him there's really no market for Wiggins. If Mike Brown was like, you know what? I know what's up with him. He can help us. I think the Kings could have him if they wanted him.
Yeah, Sam says he's not convinced there will be a taker for his contract. I don't think Wiggins, at $24 million is that outrageous, in today's NBA.
Right.
And so I think, I would like it. He's in the first year of a 4-year, $109 million deal. If you can, it's some risk to it, no doubt. But I think the reward far would outweigh the risk. Like, if he returns to 2 years ago, Andrew Wiggins, I mean, this guy has proven he can be a key piece on a championship team. And, Whitey, we've spent all season talking about Keegan Murray's defense. Now you throw Wiggins out there, and Keegan doesn't always have to guard the best forward for the other team. Now he can take a step back a little bit and get back to his offensive numbers. And so I like Wiggins, man. I keep telling you, sign me up. I'll drive to San Francisco myself, help him clean out his locker, bring him up to Golden One Center.
Yeah. Is he get to ride in your Mercedes-Benz?
He can sit in the back. Yeah. Yeah, he can sit. You and Jay and Simone can't, Niners fans. I'm sure Wiggins is down with my Eagles.
Yeah.
I wonder who's he a fan of. I'm going to have to look that up.
By the way, I have seen Kyle's card. It is sensational. It's tremendous. It's an incredible piece of workmanship.
It really is. You know what? I was going to shoot a video, and tell me if this is, I do have an ego, but I was going to take a video because I'm excited to get back to see my car, to drive that car. Like, I do not know. I didn't say the kids or anything like that. Yeah, I know. Dude, I pinch myself every day, man. Yeah. I'm truly blessed.
Very nice.
Hey, you know what, though? Real quick, a guy named Walt Ellis?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, he keeps bothering the hell out of me. He's like, tell Whitey I said hi. Did you tell Whitey I said hi? Yeah. I mean, like, every
he's in
break
Arizona
he keeps
now.
coming over. Yeah. Walt Ellis is down the way from me.
All right, he was an engineer at the first radio station we ever worked in San Francisco years ago. So, yes, thank you. Tell Walt Ellis I said hi. Right. When we come right back, Kyle is in Arizona because we got Kings and the Suns coming up. So what's at stake tonight? Next, when the Drive Guys return on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Rain is going to go through the area as we go through the night tonight. The rain will taper off overnight. Tomorrow will be a dry day with highs in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, taking you up to game night. Whitey here in Sacramento, Kyle Draper in Phoenix.
Yes.
By the way, football note having nothing to do with what happened last night. You know, a lot of people were wondering why would the NFL have that game streamed on Peacock. Did you see the numbers that Dolphins Chiefs game did? The streamed game.
What was it? 23 million, something like that.
They had more viewers than last year's. I think it was Chargers and Jags did over broadcast TV. So now the NFL has another package to sell to somebody. You know, the streaming package for one of the playoff games.
It's too much, Whitey. I was talking to Katie Christensen at dinner the other day, and I need to get one of those apps because I got too many subscriptions right now. You know, one of those apps that list all your subscriptions. So you need to go through it. It's too many of them right now.
Yeah.
You got Peacock. I don't have Peacock, and I'm not inclined to sign up for it, man.
Yeah, I got Peacock, but I still couldn't watch the game when I first turned it on. It just didn't come up. It's like it just got too many people trying to watch or something. I have Peacock and I still can't watch it. I was getting angry, but finally,
I'm angry right now. This dude right here invading my personal space next to me. I don't even know this guy. He coming up with water and popcorn. Hey, Whitey.
Yeah.
He's no Selena, but he's all right. So back in Kyle Draper. Back in Sacramento, we got somebody named Selena. She brings us lunch midway through. At least you got popcorn and water, so I appreciate that.
Or Selena. Yeah. Or
Former
Selena.
coach Bruce Arians? Is that this guy's like, who is this Yahoo here? Sorry about that, man.
No, that's all right. That's all right. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. TC is with us on Sactown Sports. Hello, TC.
Whitey, Trace, what's going on?
Hey.
What's up, baby?
Are you ready for the game tonight, TC?
Yep. Fired up about the game. We gonna win tonight, man. Check it out, though. But look, hey, Trace, I'm with you, Whitey. Hey, you got to. So the Warriors, they're not for sure. They're not gonna do a deal with us, and if we do, they're gonna start at high prices. But at the same time, Trace, I'm with you on Wiggins. I've been saying about Wiggins. The reason Wiggins, that was Mike Brown who turned Wiggins out. When they got him from Minnesota, Mike Brown made him believe in himself and turned him into two-way wings. If we got Wiggins, he'd be back to that form. I promise you, Mike could get him back, bro. That'd be a steal to get Wiggins from them, in my opinion.
I agree, TC. A steal. 28 years old, 7-foot wingspan, can defend. Come on, man. Give me Wiggins.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen, Monty.
Yeah. Just to clarify my position on Wiggins, last week, whenever previously Drapes brought it up, I was like, no, I don't want Wiggins. Saw him play Friday, played really well. So I was like, well, I'm open to it. And then he played pretty well yesterday. So if he continues to play well, yeah, it makes sense that, especially if you wouldn't have to give up to get him because no one else wants him. Those are the types of moves that smaller market teams sometimes have to make. Those gambles you have to take.
Exactly. The reward outweighs the risk, I think. Especially you're hearing it's not going to cost much. You just got to absorb some salary and, maybe a couple of second-round picks and some players to match, that kind of thing. I would do that. I do got a quick update, Whitey. When we do these shows from the arena, you can watch the players warm up and get ready. One of our more favorite things. I just saw Keegan Murray go through his full warm-up.
Nice.
So I expect him to play tonight. Had the hip contusion, hip soreness, they called it. But I expect Keegan back out on the floor tonight.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that update. Appreciate that. So what's at stake tonight, Kyle? Because I know we said this earlier. It's the middle of January. It's a Tuesday night. It's the NBA. But it seems to me this is a really big game. And that's, the West being what it is. There are no real games that don't matter. I think this is a huge game tonight. Am I wrong?
No, I agree with you. And because when you look at this Phoenix Suns team, they're coming. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're finally healthy with their big three playing tonight. And so I think this is a massive game, not only because of the opponent, but also last game of a road trip, a chance to go 3-2 on a road trip. Think about that, Whitey. If we said if this team went 3-2, we would have taken that at the beginning of the road trip. And so you can salvage it tonight. And then you look at the standings. They're 2 behind you in the loss column. You lose tonight. It's only 3 games in the NBA. You lose tonight. You could drop from 6th down to 8th, maybe 5th down to 8th. And so, no, this is a big game tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like that probably pretty much the rest of the way, right? Where you win a couple or you lose a couple, and it could have a drastic impact on where you are. I mean, take last night, the fact that Dallas beat New Orleans had a profound impact on where the Kings ended up at the end of the day.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How that, I mean, let me ask you this, though. Should we be watching the standings right now, or is this bad for our health? You know what I mean? Is this bad for our blood pressure? Because, a win here or a loss there can dramatically change things. Like I just said, you lose tonight, you got 17 losses. Mavericks and Pelicans also with 17 losses, you would fall below them. Phoenix would have 22 wins. And so I don't know. It might be bad for my health. There's still so much time left in this season.
Let's ask somebody who's been there. The great high flyer himself, Henry Turner, just stopped in.
Debo.
High flyer. We're just talking here about Drapes and I about, is it too early to scoreboard watch because it's so topsy-turvy? I say it's kind of fun. Drape says, it might be bad for your blood pressure to get too wrapped up in every game here and looking at the standings. What says the great high flyer?
It's kind of like a catch-22 type situation because, overall the team is playing better than what they played last year.
Yeah.
But, we cover the team and we see the flaws. We see the things that needs to be changed. So, that's where we get into, every game we want to see something different happen.
I just want to see him stay out of the play-in. That's all.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I said that at the beginning of the season.
Uh-huh.
Anywhere for me, 1 through 6, I'm fine with.
Yep.
All right. There's that. The high flyer has spoken. Kyle Draper.
High flyer. What's up, man? What's going on? How you feeling about that Milwaukee loss?
Come on, dog.
You okay with it? Or are you still upset?
You know what? I wasn't even upset, KD, because I knew. And if when you get a chance to ask Jay Ross, he will tell you this. As soon as De'Aaron ran down court and scored that layup, and I looked, I said, "There's 5 seconds left." I said, "It's too much time."
Same time. Yeah.
I said, "When you got a dude like Dame, it's too much time."
Yeah. Speaking of being upset, can I ask you this? If you were a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, would you be upset today?
If I was a fan of the Eagles?
Yeah.
That's a very big if there, bro. What's going on here? I mean, hey, is he trying to drag me into something here?
It's been 2.5 hours of Eagles bashing here.
You knew you were going to catch it, right?
Yeah, high flyer.
You know what? Hey, I roll with you, though, dog, and I respect you because you know why?
What?
You live and die Eagle.
Right.
Except now, you know what? He says he's a Packer fan now.
Oh, no.
I'm whoever plays the Niners. If the Niners win and the Lions meet up with them, I'm a Lions fan. I need the Niners to lose.
KD.
Henry, he didn't have to say anything, but instead he's like, I'm all in on the Packers.
Hey, check this out. KD, you know you my brother by another mother. You know I'm with you, bro.
What you got?
I say stay an Eagle fan. I respect
I'm
you
always
for that.
an Eagles fan.
No. I'm saying I respect you for that. Don't turn into a Niner hater, bro. Just don't turn into a Niner hater. Hey, rep the Eagles all day and night, but don't turn into a Niner hater, bro.
No, here's the thing, High Fly. Let me explain it to you. It's like the Kings and the Warriors. Kings and Warriors, they coexisted for many years. I didn't care about the Niners, but all of a sudden, this last year or two, just like the Warriors, that rivalry is there. This is the new rivalry in the NFC right now, and so I'm sorry, man. I got to hear from these yahoos every day on the radio and social media. Come on, man.
You're just getting warmed up.
You're killing me, High Flyer.
Yeah.
I love my Eagles.
Hayden ain't pretty,
love
bro.
my Eagles.
Hayden ain't pretty, bro.
Yeah.
But I need them Niners to go down.
Drapes,
I
have a great call tonight in Phoenix.
All right, baby.
Yeah, great
Thanks,
show.
man.
Talk to you tomorrow. We got the High Flyer with Game Time next right here on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Rain is going to go through the area as we go through the night tonight. The rain will taper off overnight. Tomorrow will be a dry day with highs in the upper 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Have you ever envisioned having $500,000 in advertising to conquer the remodel market, but felt overwhelmed at the thought of going it alone? Now you don't have to. Join Subcontractors United and share your advertising with 2 other contractors in your trade. Get $500,000 in advertising for only $1,042 a month. We are so sure this will work that we're giving away free advertising until June 2024 to qualified contractors. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Uma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Uma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Lowe's knows pros want savings now. That's why, as an MVP's Pro Rewards member, you get volume savings on orders of $1,500 or more at the Pro Desk. And there's more. We've lowered our prices on select top products like electrical wire and drywall, so you can get the job necessities for less. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. In-store only. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks, like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Golden One Center, January 26th to the 28th. Brought to you by BKT Tires and Great Clips. Visit monsterjam.com today.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain, very intense, can make your eyes water. It makes you walk funny because you're trying to get pressure off your heel. I had instability. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And I was driving past the Good Feet store. I mean, why not? Give it a try.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure they fitted me with the right thing. And so they brought out several different arch supports and gave me the opportunity to try them in shoes and walk around with them until they found the perfect ones for my feet. I had no idea that they would be that patient, and I had no idea they would be that kind. And you just knew, like, your feet, just when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. And it really did make a big difference. It made my foot not hurt. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
On the putting green, when someone doesn't get their putt to the hole, someone else is bound to say, hit it, Alice. But who is Alice, and what did she do to get immortalized in a golf insult? Well, it turns out that Alice isn't a she, Alice is a he. It's Alice as in the late Peter Alice, the famous English golf broadcaster. He was a pretty good touring professional, and at the 1963 Ryder Cup, Alice played Arnold Palmer and Tony Lima, having with Lima and beating Palmer. At some point in that match, Alice, for whom putting was not a strength, badly missed a 3-foot putt. Someone in the gallery yelled out, "Nice putt, Alice." Alice explained that the BBC, where he did golf commentary, played a large part in burning the phrase into public consciousness. I was never renowned for putting, he explained, therefore I was an easy target for British comedy programs. Alice later gave golf lessons to Sean Connery, for his match as James Bond in Goldfinger. So the next time you utter, "Hit it, Alice," just remember Peter Alice. May he rest in peace. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
It's time for game night, getting you ready for Sacramento Kings basketball.
He's got the bucket!
Game night is presented by Power Business Technology, your locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or visit them at powercopiers.com. Here's your host, Scott Marsh, alongside the high flyer, Henry Turner.
And a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to game night right here, Sactown Sports, 1140. Scott Marshall along with the high flyer, Henry Turner. The Kings, it's the fifth and final game on the road trip. They're in Phoenix to take on the Suns, looking for their third consecutive win against a Phoenix team this year. Also looking for that third road win and to finish up with a winning record on the road. 2-2 on the road right now. First two wins in Detroit and Charlotte. Friday night, we know not real competitive against Philadelphia. And then on Sunday, we all know what happened on Sunday in Milwaukee. High flyer, have you gotten over Sunday? I'm still to some extent processing everything that happened. I mean, first of all, what an incredible ball game. It did not finish like we wanted it to at all, but that was one of the great games of the season, without a doubt.
You know, Scott, great ball game. Love the way the Kings fought. Love the way that Mike stood up for his players. I mean, really was letting referees know and got kicked out. Jordan Fernandez does a great job, man. I mean, you really got to tip your hat to him. And then, the guys, they galvanized, they came together and they played hard, just lost. We talk about when it comes down to playoff time and doing something special. We talk about guys playing hard. Playing hard has nothing to do with what happened in Milwaukee. That's all talent. That is all talent. When De'Aaron came down and made that layup.
Yep. Send it to overtime.
I'm like, I looked at the clock and it was like 5.6 seconds left.
Oh, you're talking in overtime now?
Yes.
Okay. And we're talking after he made the second free throw, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like.
Game's inbounding.
Too much time.
Yep.
I told Jason right then and there, I said, with a player like Dame, that's too much time. And Milwaukee executed to the T because you put your lethal weapon out of bounds because they fall asleep. They forget about him. They think that you're not going to him. He's out of bounds. You never go back to the guy that's out of bounds with 5 seconds left. So they elect to throw the ball into Giannis, who you think Giannis is the guy. You have to go double team him. De'Aaron ran over to him. Giannis threw it to Brook. Here comes Dame. He shovels it to Dame. Now you got to scramble because no one's guarding Dame. Remember, he's out of bounds.
Right.
Now you have to scramble to get back to him, and all he needs is one step over the logo and a second. And when he got it off, I just threw down the headphones.
You knew it was good.
I threw down the headphones and said, it's over.
Yep, you knew it was good.
It's over.
It was Dame time.
It's over.
It was Dame time at that point. We're going to get into that and a lot more. Of course, Mike Brown, the fine is out. We'll talk about that and more.
Is it heavy, Scott?
It's heavier than Darko Rajakovic.
Really?
In the sense because it's a combo fine of coming on the floor.
Oh, okay.
And a video displays. We're all very aware of now. All right. We'll be with you until 5:30 today, getting you ready for Kings Live pregame. You can join us at 916-339-1140. We'd love to hear from you. We're up on our Sactown stream as well. You can go there on YouTube. We'll have chat during the breaks, and that's up and running as well. You can chime in on our stream there also. All right. You kind of broke down the final play. My only thought to that, of course, if we're going to break this all down, if there's 5.6 seconds left to go in the game, and the only thing that can beat you is a three-pointer, and Damian Lillard is anywhere on the floor, how can you fall asleep against Damian Lillard?
Like I said, Milwaukee executed.
They execute. They did execute to the T, but still. The point is, how can you forget that Damian Lillard is on the floor?
I'm with you.
You know it's Dame time. You know it's the only thing that can beat you.
I am 100% with you, Scott. But when you throw the illusion of Dame's out of bounds, 9 times out of 10, nobody goes back to the guy that takes the ball out of bounds.
Right, but it's Damian
But what I'm
Lillard,
saying is not usually the guy who takes the ball out of bounds is never in the play.
But it's Damian Lillard.
No, I feel you.
Okay.
Hey, Dame could have walked to the bathroom. I'd have been standing next to him.
Yes. And double teaming him, right? Let Giannis dribble it up the court. Let Brook Lopez do whatever he wants. Damian Lillard is, of course, the one guy you can't allow to hit the final shot in that situation.
You know what? I'm with you. It's almost asinine when that guy gets a shot off that clear. Because you know he's capable of
You know
doing
the
it.
result.
Yes. I mean, some guys just have that in their DNA.
Yep.
You know, they're just big time last second shot makers. And if you let those guys get to a spot and get it off, you know, you can name them. Hey, you know, of course, Steph Curry is one. Klay Thompson is one. Robert Ory. I mean, you know, you can Kobe, you can just name. Well, Kobe gonna take it regardless of wherever he's at.
But he's gonna hit it too.
But yeah, you know, these guys love this type of scenario, and if you let them get it off, man, they can hurt you time and time again.
Yeah, you had to mention the word time because it was Dame time. And now we know that's how it resulted. And we know it also was a result of the Kings not making free throws down the stretch in the game. So whether Dame hits that shot or not, the Kings really should not have been in that position.
Number one, Scott, you know, when you go over everything like we do, we go over everything. If the Kings would have done just the one simplistic thing that really elementary school players really practice and say, we have to get this down. If you knock down your free throws, game over. I don't care if Dame shoots it from the parking lot. Game is over.
No question. It was rare to see Malik miss 4 free throws, 2 of them down the stretch. De'Aaron was 6 of 7 at the line, but of course the one he did miss was in the final 5.6. All of that said and done, of course, it was a tremendous ball game overall. It was a tremendous comeback. And of course, it was about Mike Brown getting ejected with 9:27 left to go in regulation. He had simply had enough. He had just simply had enough of what he had seen in terms of the overturn on the call that never should have been overturned. And when Cam Payne grabbed Darren Fox by the arm, that was the final.
That play right there. You know, I usually don't get into referee calls because, you know, like Mike said, they're human. They make mistakes. But at that particular point, that foul, De'Aaron wasn't trying to sell it.
Nope.
Payne had a handful of arm.
That can be a flagrant foul. I mean, that is grabbing another player's arm.
A handful of arm. And I can understand if it happens away from the ball.
Sure.
De'Aaron Fox has the ball. And that happens, and they don't call anything. So when Mike Brown lost it, I mean, I was kind of with him. It's like, come on now. Come on. You had to see that.
No doubt. The Kings almost pulled off what they did in Toronto when that happened last, with Jordy Fernandez taking over, making that massive comeback to come in. Of course, it was Giannis missing a free throw. It was De'Aaron getting down the floor to tie it up in overtime. They scored the first 6 points of overtime. It was looking so great. At the end result, it's a loss. It was an incredible game. It didn't go the Kings' way. They have to regroup. But let's get into to Mike Brown. He was fined today. What are you guessing the fine was? Name that fine if you haven't heard yet.
I like sticking. Plus, he jumped out on the floor.
Yep.
That's going to be about a $75,000 hit.
Okay. It was 50. It was 50. It was 50. It was 25 for the floor, and it was 25 for the laptop. Okay. What about the laptop? That was a new wrinkle. Well, it was 25 for the officiating and calling him out. But I mean, didn't we feel like we were in a courtroom in the post game? Wasn't that awesome?
You know what? Mike Brown brought all his receipts, bro.
That was a closing argument that would have convicted anybody in a courtroom.
You know what? When you have the tape.
Exactly.
When you have the videotape.
Let's go to the videotape.
That's right. Tape don't lie. When he did that, though, I was crying.
It was so great.
I was down on one knee. I'm like, tell him, Mike, show him why you're mad, son.
It was beautiful, and it was justified, and it was from the heart. And to your point, he didn't really take it out on the officials per se. It wasn't a personal attack on the officials. It certainly didn't get to the passion or the level that we heard from Darko Rakovic, Raptors head coach, earlier in the week.
He wasn't ripping the referees, because he did say they're human, they make mistakes.
Yep.
But he was talking about more so having clarification of the rule.
Right. And he also knew that their call was wrong.
Yes.
Flat out knew it was wrong, and he was right about it.
Of the rule.
You have to have both hands up, and you have to go vertical.
And Mike Brown was 100% right on that. And what he's trying to say, and he did say, is you're going to change the rule now because it's Brook Lopez. Because when Sabonis goes up and he has his forearm out, he gets called all the time.
Yep.
But when Brook does it, we're on the road. Now, all of a sudden, the whole rule is changed. You just didn't miss the call.
And it was on a review.
Wait. You just didn't miss the call.
Right.
You changed the rule.
Yes.
So I understand.
On replay.
Bro, on replay.
That's the other thing on top of it all.
It's receipts, dude. Everything is documented. That's why I understand. I'm not saying he was right about doing it, but that's why I understand everything he did.
Yeah, no doubt. It was just an amazing game overall. It was so entertaining to watch. And the one thing, we talk about losses with the Kings. Friday night felt like another loss that we just couldn't understand. The Kings were really non-competitive, got down early, never really got back into it. Makes your head scratch. And that's when people start talking about trades and what's going on and all that stuff. Sunday, not that case at all. It was a great effort from the Kings against a very good Milwaukee team. It didn't go their way at the end, but nobody can feel bad about what the Kings did in that game.
And see, Scott, that's where you really start looking at your team. You lost the game. You wasn't happy about that. But at the end of the day, we always say it's how you lose.
Yes.
The Kings were very, very competitive.
Yes.
Now, if you're looking at this game and you're looking at this game to be a barometer, because Milwaukee is going to be in the top 3 to come out of the East, and you watch the Kings walk into Milwaukee and play them bucket for bucket, you're feeling pretty good about your team.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
If you walk into Philly and you watch how Philly just rolled over your team, now you look at your team saying, "Oh, fellas, we got some problems. We got to make some changes."
No doubt. You don't compare it to two totally different situations. At the end of the day, you're still 0-10. In your last 10 against Philly, you're 0-15 against Milwaukee.
It's still 2 losses,
it
but
is.
You're looking at the losses
you feel differently
a whole
about
lot different about
100% agreed. Okay. Our look back at the post-game coverage brought to you by Folsom Lake Honda. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Points in the paint on Sunday. The Kings dominated there too. They outscored Milwaukee, who is an interior team, 64-44. It shows you how good they were that night.
The Kings played a very good basketball game. Very good game. Never did go down big. I thought they was under control. They took the right shots. Kevin Huerter showed up. Did Kevin Huerter show up and show out?
Yeah.
They needed him.
He was great. 26 points, 6 threes most of the year, 10 rebounds.
Yes.
Boy, it was great to see him play well in a game that was competitive and mattered. Absolutely.
Right. That meant something because, hopefully that did something to that kid's confidence, man. And we get a chance to see him, back in that feel-good type situation, Scott, because he's been struggling mightily for so long.
No doubt. It was way more than scoring 17 in the fourth quarter of the game. You're getting blown out by 40. This meant something for the Kings, and they almost pulled it off. All right. Our look at the points in the paint, as always, brought to you by RT Painting, your reliable and trusted painter in the Sacramento market since 1998. We'll finish off talk about Sunday with one other thing. We foreshadowed it when we were talking about Damian Lillard. We said, you know what? The Bucks are unhappy. Their defense isn't as good as it was a year ago. They lost 4 or 5 at one point. We were questioning, are the Bucks a better team with Damian Lillard or out or without, Drew Holiday? But at the end, we said they got Damian Lillard for the big moments in the big games and come April, May, and June. And unfortunately, those words came back to bite us on Sunday night. Well, that's exactly what happened.
Well, it didn't bite us, Scott. We knew. We talked about it.
I know
we said exactly.
But that's why they got Dame right there.
You know what? That's when he shows up and shows out.
Yeah. All right. Game night underway from the Sactown Sports 1140 studios. Marcus and Tin, we're going to get to your phone calls. We promise. We've got to take a break. When we come back, we'll start looking ahead. Phoenix, the team tonight, Kings looking to go 3-0 on the year, but the big three are back for the Suns for the first time that the Kings will have to contend against them. So we'll talk about that all and more. And of course, we'll be in the Sactown stream as well during the break. It's game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140.
All righty, we're live on YouTube. Hello, everybody.
Kyle, how are you, my friend?
I am doing wonderful tonight. I purposely made sure
you've got the Arizona Diamondbacks hat on. We all see that. You've made your road trip with the Kings.
Which, ironically, I don't have every city's hat, but ironically, we've happened to play in cities that have professional baseball teams as well.
Yes.
So, there you go.
All right. Well,
wrapping up the road trip.
You're representing. All right, good. What do we got going on in our stream right now?
No real questions, but a lot of people talking about the Mike Brown fine, which is, the story of the day, I guess. But we also haven't had a chance to talk about the actual the actual act itself, because I was on with Frankie and Brennan yesterday for the MLK show, and the thing that I thought would get him a bigger fine than Darko, and proved to be right. He got $50,000 was. As he's on the court, getting ready to yell at the official, Connaughton for the Bucks runs over him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was kind of an underrated part of the whole thing.
It could have possibly been a suspension if they'd wanted to.
If the official doesn't,
I'm talking suspension for tonight.
If the official isn't looking up the floor, the official is running into Mike Brown. That's a collision with an official. That's going to be something that warrants more of a suspension.
You know what? And here's the deal too. He did trip him, but it wasn't like it was anything egregious towards Pat.
No, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't Woody Hayes in the old days. It wasn't sidelining a guy as he's running down the field.
But it wasn't Pat running on the baseline or on the sideline. Mike stepped into the court and took
I'm
out
saying
Connaughton.
they could have elected, but I think again at the end of the day, Mike Brown was right. I mean, I don't know. It probably doesn't weigh into the decision overall, but
he knew he was right. The officials knew he was right, and he's still going to have to pay
I'll tell you
2 game check. He's working for free tonight.
I'm with you, Scott, because I think being right has a lot to do with you're not being suspended.
Yeah, I think
you're still going to get a fine, and we could have suspended you for this, but. You was right. You were wrong, but you were right.
Yes.
So we're not going to get you with the heavy one.
Exactly.
You're going to pay the money now. We're going to take the money, but we're just not going to make you miss a game.
Those 2 game checks. He's lost his game check from the Bucks, and he's working for free tonight. That's what's happening there.
Mike Brown will not be holding a sign, sir.
No, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, saying we'll work for food.
Yeah, but he is working for free tonight.
Yeah,
somewhat.
Yeah,
relatively speaking.
Yeah, his if he makes an average coach's salary, average it out
several mil a year.
Yeah, average it out over 82 games.
It's still a little, but your point is well taken.
Yes.
I got it. What else we got going on?
Some people are talking about the actual call itself.
Yeah.
The campaign, the play that actually got Mike Brown ejected.
That really
itself,
could have been a flagrant foul.
Yeah, I mean, it was
because he wrapped his arm and grabbed De'Aaron's arm. That is technically a flagrant foul.
Yeah, it was a bit of a textbook case. I don't really see people who are out there, arguing the possibility that it's not. It's just, it's curious to see, the dichotomy that he was explaining between the calls Domas gets and then bring that call forward.
You know what? It's definitely, you can go right or left, but it's definitely not a no call.
Mm-hmm.
No
it's
doubt.
either a foul or.
And at some point, when they look back and they're tinkering with the review process, I think there should be a point where coaches can challenge non-calls. I think they need to somehow figure out a way to incorporate that.
But see, it won't for a game like that.
On our way back.
We're on back.
Hold on a sec.
Our National Garage Door.
Welcome back in the game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer, Henry Turner, getting you ready for Kings and Suns tonight. Game 3. They're going to play each other 5 times this year. Again, because of the in-season tournament, this is one of the games that it will be picked up. So we're going to see Phoenix a couple of more times this year. But if they can win this, they'll win the season series against the Suns. We'll get into that because the standings are very close right now between these two teams. Game night brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience how the power of family can help your business office equipment needs today. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Good conversation in our Sactown stream on YouTube. My point was, obviously, it was a foul against De'Aaron Fox that Mike Brown ran onto the floor trying to defend his player. Was built up because of other calls as well. We understand that. I would just like to see at some point in time the review process for coaches being able to challenge non-calls. You can't challenge a non-call. You can only challenge a wrong call. There's got to be a way to look back at something like that, in my opinion.
It would have to be done during the game, because this is the type of situation to where you lost by 1 point, and that one call could have changed the outcome.
My
of
point
the
is,
game.
what I'm saying is Mike Brown, instead of running out on the floor, he could have, if in my ways, if I'm on the executive board, he calls a timeout and he asks them to look at that campaign thing with De'Aaron.
Got you.
But obviously that's not possible right now.
And see, that's going to be tough too, because
how do you stop the game? How do you, there's lots of things to look into.
That's the thing they've been crying about. You know, it slows down the game. You know, the first year reviews came out, it was all about transparency and getting it right. They didn't care how long it took. But now everybody's screaming about how it slows the game down. They just slowed down some of those reviews.
No doubt. All right. Patiently waiting to be on the program is Marcus in Oak Grove. Marcus, welcome into Game Night. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Scott, Henry, how you gentlemen doing today?
We're doing great, man. How are you?
Hey, we're doing great. We're doing great, man.
Good.
First off, I want to give the King's Kingdom a little bit of a half glass full.
Okay.
I want to be able to say that, be appreciative of the fact that we are competitive. There are some of the greatest NBA teams out there that have not went 82-0. So let's be happy that we have a team now that's actually competitive, and we're, you know, in a position to say we were in a close game with one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference to start.
Absolutely. So true. And it was such a great, fun game to watch. We hated the result, but boy, was that not fantastic on Sunday.
Oh, it was great to watch. As a fan, you love games like that.
Absolutely.
You know, you love to see your team be competitive. But what I wanted to touch base with you guys on, in regards to the Andrew Wiggins thing, my personal opinion, I feel like we already have Andrew Wiggins on the team, and his name is Harrison Barnes. If we go backwards and we take a look, both of them have played with both Steph and Clay, and we're going to just agree and say that that's pretty much an elite backcourt, correct?
Yes, I would agree with that.
So both of them playing with that elite backcourt, both of them, and in my opinion, I feel like maybe Harrison Barnes was maybe a little better on Golden State than he has been and his other arrivals. With no disrespect to Wiggins, of course he's a NBA player, so he's great. But if he's going to come to Sacramento, I honestly don't believe, in my heart of hearts, that De'Aaron Fox is better than Steph yet.
Okay.
I don't believe we have anybody at the 2 position that's, you know, better than Clay at the current status. So to have him come in from a position where he should be able to sneak in at least a good 15 to 20 points based off of who his backcourt mates are. But then coming to Sacramento where he's going to be asked to do much more because where we are lacking, I don't see him being able to do that. In addition to that, I'd like to get you guys' opinion because there's been this debate going for the last 2 years in regards to how does Monk actually fit in this team? We started everybody else except for Monk. And I understand you want that firepower coming off the bench. But how many times during this year do we have to play from behind and have to get him going in order to get some actual wins here?
No, Marcus, 2 great points. We'll get into both, and I appreciate the phone call. Very good one. All right, so there has been some scuttlebutt Kings trade rumors. Andrew Wiggins' name has been mentioned. What do you make of that? I mean, my thought on Andrew Wiggins obviously has a huge contract. He is a great defender. He can score. He was obviously a big problem for the Kings in the playoff series last year, coming back from missing so much time. He was a huge Kevon Looney, and Wiggins might have been, obviously Steph was the biggest factor in Game 7. But what I'm saying is Looney and Wiggins played instrumental roles against the Kings. What do you think about trying to get Andrew Wiggins?
You know, the caller was right on point with that.
He was. Good call.
He was right on point with that. You know, Wiggins is definitely, the second coming of Harrison Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
And we need some stability at that 3 spot.
Yep.
We need somebody that's going to come in and be able to give you their average.
Yep.
Whatever their average may be, they're going to have to give us their average. So, seeing that Wig isn't doing that with Golden State. And like I said, and he has some good comparisons. I mean, he's out there with Steph and Clay, sprinkle a little Draymond too.
Yeah.
And he's not able to do that there. So what makes you think that just moving him 68 miles down the road, he's going to be able to do it here and still have, like the caller said, a little bit more expectation on his shoulders?
I agree with all that. The only thing I would say, I think Andrew Wiggins from a defensive standpoint would maybe fit in a little bit better. The guy can defend, help out, and it's obviously Mike Brown, what he's touched upon. I don't know for the basis of the salary. I have to look that up. He's making over $20 million a year. How that would fit and what you would move, but I mean, I think it's not a bad thing to look at.
My biggest gripe with a trade like that would be, where is Wiggins' mental state? Because that's where his problem is. His problem isn't a physical situation. He's got things that in his household he's dealing with. And it wasn't like this happened just this year. He's been dealing with this last year. He didn't play the whole year last year because of what was going on in his household.
Yeah. Well, and looking at the contract, 4-year, $109 million deal. He's got a player option 26-27. So if you're going to invest in Andrew Wiggins, you're looking at it for the long term because you're going to have him locked up at least for 2 more years after this one. So interesting conversation. Of course, the one thing that always comes up, Malik Monk, should he be starting? Should he not? It's something we're talking about every game night, it seems like now.
Yeah. And, and rightfully so. I mean, old dude evidently is an advocate, NBA fan. He digs a little deeper than what the average fan does just by his call. I felt the same way. I'm like, even if Malik doesn't stay in the starting lineup, try it. And see what happens. Because you know what? I don't even think it's the thing for me is to see what Malik gives you in the starting lineup. For me is, what will those other guys give you off the bench? I think that's more important than wondering what Malik is going to give you. Malik is going to be Malik. We know that. He's going to score. He's going to facilitate. How are the other guys going to play coming off the bench? Because their role is changing more so than what Malik says.
Yep, no doubt on that. And if Kevin Huerter puts together some consistent games like he did on Sunday, we're not having this conversation in the long term.
That's the conversation you're not having. If him and Harrison Barnes can give you their average, we're not talking about moving neither one of those guys.
Nope. All right, some good discussion there. Good call, Marcus. We need to take the break. When we come back, he mentioned Steph and Clay. You mentioned Draymond. Well, Draymond was back yesterday in Memphis. They were playing a G League team literally in Memphis. Gigi was the big story for the Grizz, a 19-year-old who took down the Warriors yesterday. We'll get into that as we go around the league.
Smoked.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot to talk about there. Game night brought to you by National Garage Door. Call today for your basketball special, 916-638-4554. More of Game Night right here, Sactown Sports 1140.
Okay, we're clear.
All right, what do we got, Kyle?
Well, we were talking about Wiggins, obviously, and that's, it's the trade deadline. There will be the same, handful of names that obviously come up as fits.
Well, let's put it this way. If you could move straight up Barnes for Wiggins, I would take that.
Yeah, but you know who wouldn't? Golden State.
And you could. The salaries don't quite match up anyways. But
so what
else would you have to give in addition? I mean, again, I'm not saying that the Warriors want Harrison Barnes back. Obviously, he played there. He had some success. He won a title there. So it may not be outside the realm of possibility. They would look at Harrison Barnes with something else.
The thing that I think is interesting about Wiggins is the fact that he might get moved at all. I think that's very fascinating because of what a foundational piece he was when they were winning not too long ago. However, the Kings are not the team to partner with.
Can I say this about Golden State? I am so intrigued about them pulling the plug on Wiggins before they pull the plug on Draymond. You know, Draymond, this is their last dance.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond has been such a big distraction, and they still ain't talking about pulling the plug on him. But Wiggins has got some other things going on, some mental issues going on, and they're talking about letting him go.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what. I don't know what the plan is for the Warriors at this point because
they don't know what the plan is.
I know, but the Chris Paul experiment didn't work out. Like,
I don't know if that's fair to say. I mean, he's hurt right now. They got off to a decent start. The whole Draymond thing.
Okay, so
turned it off. I'm not sure about that.
The idea this year, I guess Chris Paul was more emblematic of the strategy. It's not an indictment of Chris Paul himself. The strategy was we're going to go all in.
I would make the case the strategy was working initially, and then everything else derailed it.
Draymond derailed.
Yes, exactly.
They're sitting at the 12th seed. They don't believe they can turn it around. I'm just curious. I'm curious that Wiggins is the one that they're open and available to moving because
that's what I'm saying. I'm very curious why they're willing to say, okay, let Wig go, but they still hanging on to Draymond.
Yeah, and Wiggins, look, the Kings are not the team to partner with Wiggins. It's just the salaries don't work out that great. Barnes isn't really the player they want back as the centerpiece in return. There are other teams that can provide comparable trade packages. I just think there's an interesting conversation.
By the way, do
Wiggins
we know on Keegan for sure, one way or the other?
Wait, sorry, what?
If Keegan's available tonight?
Keegan is available to play, according to Jason Anderson. That doesn't necessarily mean starting. We don't know the lineup yet,
but he is active.
He is available to play.
Fantastic.
So I believe if he's starting, that will be our lineup for tonight. Is the same five as we had all last year with.
Yep, exactly. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else in the chat?
We got 30 seconds left to go. Yep. I know we'd like to do our Around the NBA segment, but Henry, your boy Joel Embiid is putting in some work tonight against Jokic. He got 11 points in the first quarter. I know he's playing through the pain with the knee, but he's working. Maybe you guys can talk about that.
We're going to talk about that.
That dude is going through the league like table butter.
Mm-hmm.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Welcome back in the game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer, Henry Turner. We'll take you until 5:30 tonight. If you want to join us, you can, 916-339-1140. We promise we'll get to you before our show is over with this evening. Game night brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you have a heart of service, you want to do something for children in our area who could use some mentorship, this is a great program. Call Big Brothers Big Sisters 916-646-9300 or visit bbbs-sac.org to learn all about becoming a volunteer mentor. All right, as we go around the league, we mentioned Steph, Clay, Draymond, all that stuff. We saw them all back together. Draymond's back after missing 16 games. They're in Memphis, a Memphis team that had absolutely nobody available. We know Ja's out. Marcus Smart is out. No Bane. Of course, Steven Adams is out. No Brendan Clark. But the Grizz win at home against the Golden State Warriors, only their fourth win of the year, 116-107. That's a low moment for the Golden State Warriors.
The last dance, Scott. The last meal, baby. Y'all better eat up because this dynasty is done.
So Green's return, 24 minutes, 7.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Draymond Green spoke out after the game. He basically said the team's defense stunk, that individually not good, team-wise not good, people not reacting fast enough, basically called out the team. I want to know what you think. Draymond Green, who's missed 16 games, comes back and after the first game is calling everybody else out. What do you think the locker room, how do you think they took that?
Man, I know they're looking at Draymond like, how long you going to be here, bro?
Yeah.
How long you want to call me out when
you're the reason we're 18-22 right now.
Thank you. You're the reason. The last 25, you haven't been here.
Yeah.
So don't say nothing about what's going on right now.
Yeah. Now, what he said was true.
True.
But I don't think after missing 16 games like he did, he has any right to say that.
What Mike Brown said was true too, but he still had to swallow.
And Mike Brown had a right to say it.
He still had to swallow that fine. So it's like, Draymond, really? Yeah. Are you really going to try to call somebody out when you're the reason why the record is the way it is?
Yeah, that absolutely made no sense to me.
Single-handedly.
That's pretty crazy right there. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Is it Emmy that we have right now for game night? I believe so. Emmy, how are you, my friend?
Hi, guys. How are you? Good evening. I'm so happy Sasha played the other night. And too, very, very happy. My question, what I want to say about Wiggins is I have heard, because I'm living in the Bay Area, that Andrew would prefer if he didn't stay to Canada because of the situation with his family. So that's what I've been hearing, not now, but before, when he was missing for almost the whole season, when his father had problems, stuff like that.
Yep.
So my comment is he would prefer to be in Canada, where his family is from.
Got it. All right, Emmy, thank you for the phone call. Appreciate that. And that might all be true, but unfortunately you don't get to pick where you're traded in this league, because that would allow basically the Warriors to have one team. Now, if the Raptors wanted to give up Pascal, got to turn on that mic for that one. Obviously the Warriors would send Wiggins on a private jet up there. That's not going to happen. But
Scott, Wig is in a situation to where, bro, he really needs to take some time off and get some help. Because I don't think this is something that he's going to be able to work through by himself.
Okay. Fair enough. As we look at the marquee games tonight going around the league, obviously the Nuggets and the Sixers right now, that is a big time battle. Embiid is playing, the Joker is playing. You've got the two best centers in the league, in the world, maybe the two best players in the NBA going against each other. You like it because it's an intra-conference battle. They only get to play each other twice. This is a marquee matchup tonight.
Yeah. You get to look at who's the best big man in the league. You're looking at the reigning MVP against the reigning final MVP and champion. It can't get any bigger than this.
No. How about Embiid coming back and putting up 41 and 10 yesterday? 16 straight games of 30 points and 10 rebounds. The last person to do that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I mean, Shaquille. This is Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley's fault. Because both of those guys,
they called him out.
Both of those guys called him out and said, it's no reason why anybody should be able to touch you in this league. You are the last of dying breed, a big man. There's nobody else that can do nothing with you one-on-one. It should be barbecue chicken. He got chicken, beef, pork, turkey, whatever other type of meat you want.
It's a club sandwich.
He got all of it.
It's a hoagie. Nuggets are leading the Sixers right now, 48-44. Embiid's got 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. Those are Joker-like numbers right there. As for the Joker, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. So Embiid has the better numbers, but Denver's winning. And that's something about the Joker too. It doesn't seem like he's as wrapped up about his own personal numbers.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. And Scott, and I said it. I said one-on-one, Embiid is the better, is going to win. But in an overall team type scenario to making other guys better and all those things, Joker got him hands down.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a fun one to watch. We'll monitor the other games as well going on. Back to the phone lines, our good friend Tin. Tin, welcome into game night. How are you?
Thanks, Scott. How are you guys?
We're great. What's going on?
Something in my mind. My first ever buzzer beater of the NBA I saw on TV was LeBron hitting against the Orlando Magic, 3 at the buzzer, 1 second catch and shoot. And it really reminded me, of Dame. Got to give credit to him because, LeBron's shot was taken from half court and then Dame had to inbound, with 5 point something. And, he big shot on our guy, De'Aaron, man. But De'Aaron got him next go around.
All right. Fair enough. Appreciate that. It was the anniversary yesterday too, what they call the Trent Tucker rule. That was the game that the Knicks beat the Bulls in the Garden back in the 80s. There was 0.1 on the clock. New York is inbounding their sideline. They get it into Tucker. He puts up a 3-pointer and makes it. They called it good with 0.1 to go. The Bulls protested the game, saying there's no way you can shoot a 3-pointer in 0.1. There was no rule at that point. The Knicks kept the victory, but they instituted the 0.3 catch and shoot after that.
Right. To where you can catch and shoot you can catch and shoot all the way up until 0.3.
Yes, correct. 0.3 will allow you to do it. Correct. If it's 0.2, it has to be a tip.
Right. 0.3, 0.2 has to be a tip.
Yes. And obviously Dame had 5.6. It wasn't even close.
Close.
No, he got that off with at least a second.
The light came on as the ball was rolling out of bounds.
Yep. And I think everybody felt like Houston did in the playoff series when they saw Lillard put that shot up.
Bro, it felt like Paul George.
Yep. No doubt. No doubt. It was Dame time Sunday in Milwaukee for sure. All right, we've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Suns. We haven't talked much about them yet, but we need to talk about their big three. They are all back for this game tonight. We'll give you the injury report. It's a good one for the Kings on the Keegan Murray front. I'll share that with you here. Game night being brought to you by our good friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You can check out their full line of luxury vehicles at mbofstockton.com. More of game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140.
All righty, we're live on YouTube. You just mentioned the end of the game. If you guys had to guess, what do you think the Kings' win probability was in that game when Malik gets fouled up 4 with whatever that was? I think 20 seconds left to play.
Oh, yeah, it was probably 98, 99%.
Any guess, Henry?
I'm up high like that, too.
Not quite that high, but still dramatic. 89.3%.
It was only 89.3.
89.3 was the highest win probability the Kings had in
I would have
game.
thought higher in that situation.
I would have too.
Because you bank on Malik
you
making both.
You got an 85% shooter at the line.
Yeah.
Which I guess in fairness, if they make 2 out of the 4 instead of 1 of the 4, we go to overtime, I guess. And that's like, you could say double overtime's a 50-50 chance.
Well, you know what? In most circumstances, it would have been 90% still with Milwaukee inbounding the basketball. The minute that Davian got the ball back, it went down to about 20%.
I'm trying to tell you.
When
15.
Fox backed off of the inbound passer. Yep.
Yeah.
I think you just about nailed it.
Yep.
Well, you guys are going to talk about the Suns. Let's talk about the Suns real quick here. We got about a minute and a half here.
All right.
Let's start the Suns conversation.
Well, they got their big three back.
Yeah, it's
Bradley
the first time
Beal's playing well.
First time the Kings are going to play all 3 at the same time.
Yep. Of course, the Kings have beaten them the first 2. Last time they beat them, Durant wasn't playing either. So it'll be interesting tonight. Phoenix seems to be getting it together a little bit, High Flyer.
That's the thing. I think these teams that have big threes, the team that has, all this firepower that's really questioning, can they get it together? I honestly think that they're not really worried too much. I think after All-Star break is when they're really going to kick in and say, okay, we have to have this thing clicking now.
And even though it hasn't been great for the Suns tonight, if they win this game, they will be within a half game of the Kings.
Exactly. They're not that far back. That's the whole point of what's going on right now. I mean, and to your point, Henry, it's still early.
Right. And think about it. If you're still trying to get it to click and you're still this close, and after All-Star break, if you do get it rolling, well, you're right where you need to be.
Yep, exactly. There's still plenty of time for Phoenix to get this thing right.
Into rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Welcome back into Game Night right here, Sactown Sports 1140. Scott Marshall on with the High Flyer, Henry Turner. Let's get you to the injury report for tonight's game. Kings and Suns. For the Kings, some good news. Keegan Murray, who, of course, went out at the half, didn't play the second half. And we didn't even really touch on that in Milwaukee, but what a difference that could have been had
no doubt.
Had Keegan in the second half of that
game. No doubt, offensively and defensively.
Yep.
A whole bunch of things could have changed.
Yep. So he is active for tonight. We assume that he'll start. We don't know that for sure. We'll have more information on that as Gary Gerald will join us in Kings Live pregame. He'll have more update on that when we go out to the arena. So the Kings are healthy for this one. As for the Suns, Bol is out with his foot. Damian Lee out with a knee. But for them, the big three are back. And this will be the first time that the Kings have played against Beal, Booker, and Durant. A team that seemingly is playing a little bit better. They've won back-to-back games. They blew out the Lakers. They were up big on the Blazers, and that doesn't mean a lot. They let them come back in the game. They were pretty disappointed about that. But Bradley Beal, since coming back, has looked Beal-like. He's had a couple of 30-point games. Booker's cooking. We know what Durant can do. We're finally going to get to see what the Suns were built for, and we'll see if this big three can work together.
Well, Scott, if they can get it going, if they can get the cohesiveness, we talk about this with the Sacramento Kings. Let's say if they can just get all three of those guys to give them their average, they're playing pretty good ball. Because all three of those guys can average 25 plus easily.
Yeah. What do you think? Does that, and I'm interested to see, and we'll have a good chance to watch it tonight. I'm just interested to see if that combination of three players, Booker, Beal, and Durant, all fit in. I mean, they're all interchangeable. They're all all-stars, all of that. They don't have a true point guard, although Booker's really kind of operating like that.
I think it can work. Because, last year when Chris Paul went out, Book played a lot of point. So, he's very good and adept at playing point and still being able to get his shots. Bradley Beal is definitely a big time 2, and Kevin Durant is an elite 3. So I think they can get it going, and I think all three of those guys' basketball IQ is big enough to get it going.
Yeah, and with Nurkic there, of course, they acquired him in the trade from Portland that moved DeAndre Ayton. Seems like it's a pretty good fit with the big three.
I think Nurkic has pretty much revitalized his career because I thought he was terrible in Portland. I thought Portland asked more of him than what he could give. I honestly think that, they wanted Dame to be the outside. They wanted Nurk to be the inside. Well, I think Nurk plays 4th fiddle here. So, he's able to give you, what he can give you. So with that being said, now they got 4 guys who can really give you some damage.
Yeah, no doubt there. And if you look at the Western Conference standings, the Suns are 3 games above 500. They're 21-18. They've won 7 of their last 10. They've won 2 straight. They have a winning record on the road. They haven't been great at home. They're 11-11. But for all things considered, like with the injuries and Bill not playing much and all of that, they're not really in that bad a spot right now.
No, I mean, the experiment is still going on. He had the heart surgery. He has the patient ain't dead. He's just still in a coma.
Yeah. And for all of that, the Kings are only 2 games ahead of them in the conference standings right now.
Right. So that means that they're somewhere close.
Yeah, no doubt. They're top 8, which would put them in a play-in situation, but they got to like where they're at the midway point, considering everything they've been through. And let's not forget a new first-year head coach in Frank Vogel too.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of things to try to make work, Scott. And, we know, I mean, we've looked at 3 teams to where it just didn't work automatically out the gate. We look at the Clippers. It just didn't work out the gate.
Yeah.
We just played Milwaukee. It just didn't curl right out the gate. So it's going to take some time for those guys to get together and then to really start acknowledging one another.
No doubt. And they're a team, again, built for April, May, and June. They're not too concerned about
championship or bust.
Mid-January. Yeah. So we'll see. Now, the Kings have had good success, obviously. They've won the first 2 games. As we said, they're going to play each other 5 times this year. Like the Grizz, it's one of the extra games added because the in-season tournament, and with the Kings not going to Vegas, they had to add 2 games to the schedule. This is an important one because if they win this one tonight, they win the season series, and you just never know. I mentioned they're only 2 games above the Suns. If these 2 teams tie, they could get the tiebreaker.
Right.
Tonight.
I mean, pretty much the way we think it's going to roll out, it's going to be a log jam all the way through. So, like you said, these games to where you want to be able to fight and be able to be on top because we are already down to New Orleans with theirs.
Yep, no doubt.
And they're going to be in the fight also.
Yeah, the Pels are 24-17. They're a game behind the Kings right now. It's another team that the Kings could possibly find themselves in a tie situation with. For Sacramento as well, still a chance despite everything. I mean, they have a chance for a winning road trip here to finish 3-2. And if we had said when they took off and headed to Detroit last week, and it's been a long road trip for them, but if they If we'd said, boys, don't get on the plane, you're 3-2, come on back, we take that record
easily. If you can go 3-2 on the road, that is a good road trip.
Yeah, no doubt. And it doesn't matter who the victories are.
No matter who you win, you much rather come back 3-2 than 2-3.
Yep. And again, of all the 5 games, this is the biggest one. Obvious reasons, it's a Western Conference opponent.
Yes, if you want to go that extra mile, you might have to look at this game later on down the road and say we really needed it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what do you see tonight for the Kings in terms of some of the keys?
Wow, if the Kings can come out and give us that exact same effort they gave us against Milwaukee, I say they got a great chance to win. I mean, they played great ball. I mean, did some things to that you didn't think was going to happen, had some defensive laps, missed some free throws, but still, all in all, played great ball, man. If the Kings come out with that exact same amount of energy, man, they're going to be in a good position.
Yeah, I think they'll be fantastic if they do that. Obviously, defending the big 3. Keegan's back, and I'm assuming he's starting. We'll find out for sure on that. But defensively, when you've got 3 interchangeable parts like that, what do you do defensively?
Oh, because you know what makes these guys scary? Is that all 3 of these guys put pressure on you. They get to the basket.
Right. They drive
to the basket. So, that's where foul trouble comes into play. The Kings have definitely been guilty of getting into foul trouble early, and you don't want to get certain guys in the foul trouble. You don't want to get Keegan Murray in the foul trouble early. You don't want to get De'Aaron Fox in the foul trouble early. They got guys at the 1, 2, and 3 that could really put pressure on your defense.
Yep. And I mean, you have to focus on all 3. Obviously, they're all stars. But if you have to say, we're going to shut down this guy and maybe let Beal or whoever else it is get his, because you really can't shut down all 3. Who is it?
Scott, ain't no shutting down none of them.
Right. But I mean, if you have to have a focal point on your defense, can you do that even?
Think about it. Bradley Beal is a monster,
no doubt,
on the offensive side.
He is.
He can knock down threes. He has a mid-range game, and he can go to the bucket and score. He gives you all 31 flavors.
Sure.
Book does the exact same thing, and Kevin Durant's a freak, bro.
Is there any of the 3 that you're going to try and get the ball out of their hands and jump them? Can you do that?
I would say Book, probably, because he's going to have to be the one that also does the facilitating. But those other 2 are very adept at facilitating also, man, because they got very high basketball IQs. That's what makes this 3 so deadly.
Yeah, no doubt. The question for Phoenix is whether the bench is strong enough. We're seeing Metu play a lot off that bench.
Yep.
Good for him. He's getting a chance in Phoenix.
Right. That's where Phoenix falls off drastically, is when they have to go to their bench. They have to really rely on those big 3 to get them up, to sustain them, and to close and bring it home.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you look at last time out against Portland for them, they had 15 bench points. They scored 127, and they only got 15 off the bench. Metu had 8. Diop had 4, and Eric Gordon had 3. I mean, Gordon's a good bench.
Right, but they definitely need something.
They need more firepower.
No doubt.
Sure. Yeah.
No doubt, because all 3 of those guys, they could definitely give you theirs, but you need more than that to win.
You do, and Phoenix may be another team buying at the trade deadline, right? They're all in, right? They pushed all the chips when they went for Durant.
Hey, they had to. And you know what? They're championship or bust also. I mean, can you imagine, Scott? Look at all these teams that are championship or bust in the West.
Yep.
I mean, legitimately,
there's going to be a lot of busts.
I'm saying legitimately
I know.
championship or bust, because the Lakers are going to always be in that conversation. As long as you got a LeBron James, it's going to be championship or bust.
And the Lakers, by the way, getting a nice win at home last night against Oklahoma City.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say OKC is championship or bust, but they're right there playing.
They're playing like a team that can win it
They're
all.
playing for it, right.
No doubt. And the Lakers showing again they can get up for the big games. All right, the big game tonight, Kings and Suns. We have set the table. Coming up next, Kings Live pregame. Henry, is always great to work with you, and have a great call tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's going to do it for game night. Again, coming up next, Kings Live pregame. Jason Ross is here with the high flyer for that. Gary Gerald will join in as well. The G-Man will have the call tonight from Phoenix. It's a 6 o'clock tip. It's the 3rd of 5 between these 2 teams. The first time the Kings are matching up against the big 3 for the Suns. We'll see how it all shakes out. The one thing you want to do is keep it tuned all evening long. Kings basketball coming your way right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Have a great night.
Thank you, YouTube people. Thanks for hanging out during the road trip. We're back at Golden 1 on Thursday. See ya.